In Alberta, it's a tale of two cities. In the north, Edmonton, the self-titled City of Champions. 3 hours south on Highway 2 is Calgary, site of the 1988 Winter Olympic Games. Edmonton sports teams have had more success over the years. The Eskimos were perennial champions in the 70s, and the Gretzky-led Oilers owned the Stanley Cup in the 80s. Calgary's hockey success came in 1989. And then, just last year, the Stampeders ended their 21-year Grey Cup drought. Today at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the battle continues. The University of Alberta is in town to play the Calgary Dinosaurs. At this level of competition, the Dinosaurs hold the upper hand. 3 Vanier Cups in the last 10 years. It's the Bears and Dinosaurs next. Presents CIAU football. Today's game from McMahon Stadium in Calgary is brought to you in part by Geo. Get to know Geo at a Chevrolet Geo dealer near you. It's a great day in southern Alberta. The temperature expected to reach the 20-degree range for the 1993 North-South Shrine Bowl as the Alberta Golden Bears visit the Calgary Dinosaurs. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Calgary and a new season of CIAU football here on TSN. I'm Gord Miller. Our 10th season features 9 games for you this year, including a doubleheader on November 13th, the national semifinals. And, of course, it all wraps up November 20th at Skydome in Toronto with the 1993 Vanier Cup. But to kick things off, we've got a great provincial matchup for you today, the Calgary Dinosaurs and the Alberta Golden Bears. And there's been a change at the top of the national rankings. The Calgary Dinosaurs tied Saskatchewan last week, so as a result, Calgary drops from 1 to 3 in the rankings, and the new #1 team in the nation, the undefeated Toronto Varsity Blues. In Canada West, though, Calgary's still firmly in control. In fact, the Dinosaurs can take a major step towards clinching first place with a victory today. But look at the race for the second playoff spot. UBC and Alberta battling it out. Saskatchewan and Manitoba play later today. They are still in the race. With me once again is our CIAU football analyst, Jamie Bone. Jamie, the Calgary Dinosaurs came within 1 game last year of getting to the Vanier Cup. Here they are again in first place and ranked in the top 3. How do they do it?
And a lot of the pundits didn't think, Gord, that they would be in first place in Canada West at this time. They lost 4 starting offensive linemen. They lost a great tailback, Craig Kittleson. But I think the reason is because of the play of their quarterback, Jason Assen. Jason Assen is hitting 68% of his passes. He has a lot of great receivers to throw to. And one of those great receivers that he has is All-Canadian, 2-time All-Canadian, Mike Freiter. Mike Freiter this year is a possession receiver. He is not the big deep threat, but look to Assen to get the ball to Freiter a lot today.
Well, it's a familiar story in Calgary and a familiar story for the Alberta Golden Bears, too. Great defense, but an offense that really has trouble keeping up with the other teams in Canada West.
And that really is a concern for Tom Wilkinson. You know, he says his defense is a great defense. He thinks they keep them into a lot of games, but offensively they have to get things going. Now, no quarterback controversy here. Robert Taylor is the incumbent. He is a starting quarterback right now, putting up pretty good numbers, hitting 57% of his passes. Now, one thing that helps all quarterbacks, no matter what league you're playing in, you'd like to have great running backs, and Alberta does have a very good running back and second-year player Jay Hamilton. He is second at this moment in Canada West rushing, and look for him to carry the ball a lot today.
All right, it's prediction time once again, and Jamie, you beat me by 1 game last year, so I'll give you the first shot at making the prediction for 1993.
Oh, I might as well start off 1-0. I'll pick Calgary. They're at home. They're the ranked 3 in the nation. I'm going with the Dinosaurs.
Well, the front runner takes the first place team, but before this game, Tom Wilkinson gave me this very attractive U of A Golden Bear football hat. I promised Tom I'd wear it, and I'm picking you, big fella, so I'll take the Golden Bears. He takes the Dinosaurs, and we'll kick it off next on TSN with the 1993 North-South Shrine Bowl coming up. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary. It's the 1993 North-South Shrine Bowl as the Alberta Golden Bears take on the Calgary Dinosaurs in a key game in Canada West University athletic action. And here's what happened in the first meeting between these two teams, August 28th, Jamie. And the Calgary Dinosaurs came bolting out of the gate.
Now, if you look at that rushing, 220 yards rushing against this Alberta Golden Bear defense. Let's put that into some perspective and how they've been playing in the past couple of weeks. Last week when they beat UBC in UBC, they only UBC only rushed for 37 yards, so it looks like they've got their defense stopping the rush pretty well right now.
Well, what's interesting is what's been happening in Canada West recently. Road teams won 8 of the last 10 games. It's absolutely sensational here in Calgary. They say the temperature will get up to about 22 degrees. There's not much wind, and the artificial turf here at McMahon Stadium is bone dry. Last night I was in Regina. It was 3 degrees below zero and blowing. I felt like I took a plane to another planet today when I landed in Calgary. Peter Cannellan in his 11th season as the head coach of the Calgary Dinosaurs, and got some great assistants with them and some players with CFL experience.
And we take a look at Tony Fasano, the defensive coordinator. Peter Cannellan, as head coach, likes to start the game up in the booth. He likes to get a feel for what's going on. He gives information back down to his assistant coaches, but then he will wander down throughout the game and get back on the sidelines.
And you see some of the assistants on the Alberta sideline. In the foreground is Dave Morris, whose father Frank was the director of player personnel for the Edmonton Eskimos for a number of years, and Dave Morris was a member of Alberta's 1980 Vanier Cup championship team. The Calgary Dinosaurs will kick off, and to do the honors for the Dinosaurs is the leading scorer in Canada West, Bruce Parsons. And back deep to receive for Alberta is number 7 Sidney Leong and number 28 Mark Tobert. And a quick start would seem essential for the Alberta Golden Bears, especially with the way the Calgary Dinosaurs have played in the first half of their games. They're outscoring their opponents by an average of 2 touchdowns. Parsons' kickoff drives Tobert back to the goal line, and we're underway. Tobert picks his way across the 20 and up to the 24-yard line. Finally brought down on the play by Chris Lewis.
And Mark Tobert is also an former All-Canadian slot back. They want to get him the ball when they throw the ball this afternoon. Robert Taylor is the quarterback. Was not the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. That was Bob Lancaster, but Tom Wilkinson said he has played extremely well in his last few outings, hitting 57% of his passes, and he will be the leader. He has a lot of experience, 5th-year veteran.
2 touchdown passes for Taylor this year and 2 interceptions, and the Golden Bears begin at their own 24-yard line. Right away they go to Jay Hamilton, and he goes nowhere. Brought down immediately on the play by number 55, Sean Irwin.
Jay Hamilton, the ball carrier in that last play. He is the 2nd leading rusher in Canada West, and we take a look at the receiving corps. Mark Tobert is their best receiver. He is the person that Tom Wilkinson wants to get the ball to this afternoon. Offensive line, Riley Spears. He's their big right tackle, 6'5", 265 pounds out of McNally Composite. They'll be running a lot to his side.
Alberta had 4 Canada West All-Stars last year. 3 of them graduated. Loss of 2 at 2nd and 12. Taylor to try his first pass, under pressure and dropped. The nose tackle, Trent Schmulin, brings him down. His 4th sack of the season. He leads the team.
Now Robert Taylor, when he gets back here, has fairly good time, and they flare out Jay Hamilton to his left. Jay Hamilton is all alone, but he doesn't quite see him. And you know, quarterbacks, when they get back in that set, they know they've got 1, 2, 3 seconds maybe to throw it. You could see he felt the pressure starting to come, and sure enough, Schmulin got in there and made the sack.
Alberta's first 2 offensive plays, they lose 11 yards. And back to punt is Scott McKenzie.
Let's go, Scotty!
McKenzie's kick is taken by Freider at the 40. He gets down to about the 38-yard line, so the Calgary Dinosaurs will have excellent field position, a 32-yard punt, and a return of 4. And the Calgary offense will swing into action.
Jason Ashen, 3rd-year player out of Calgary, became the starter halfway through last season when starting quarterback John Kalin hurt his finger, actually dislocated it. Kalin went to the secondary. Ashen played quarterback for them, and is a starting quarterback this season as well.
His 68.1% completion percentage is the best in the nation. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. And Ashen, looking for room to run, doesn't find much, and he's brought down in his tracks by Steve Dallison.
Ashen, the ball carrier, gain of 1 yard.
A good set of backs and receivers at Calgary. Sean Latter, the leading rusher in Canada West this season. This seems to be tailback you at this school, and of course Mike Freider heading up the receiving corps. Ron Meyer is the All-Canadian, and he is the anchor of that offensive line. 6'5", 285 pounds, will be running right a lot this afternoon.
Almost no gain on that play. Make it 2nd and 10 for the Dinosaurs. Just underway here in the first quarter. Johnson with time. Looking downfield, has a man, he dropped the football. Got to Craig Furlong, but Furlong was jolted by Stephen Day, and Furlong remains down on the turf.
They say there's a lot of bad blood between these two teams, Gord, and you can start to see it there. This is going to be a hitting game this afternoon. Nice job by Aston as he's rolling out to throw it back inside to hit Furlong. But watch him unload right here at Day. Boom! And the ball pops loose. Luckily for Calgary, the ball went out of bounds. Let's take a look at that hit again. Boy, look at that head snap back.
Textbook hit by Stephen Day, and Craig Furlong remains down on the ground for the Calgary Dinosaurs. One thing the Dinosaur players have been talking about this week is that Alberta traditionally plays great defense. And it's strange in university football because you have so much turnover, but yet year after year, Alberta has great hitters. And they say that this year's Alberta Golden Bears hit as hard as any team they've seen.
And we'll take a look at the next time we see Alberta on defense, but they play a little bit differently. They take their halfbacks, inside halfbacks, Sean Cottry and Stephen Day, and they bring them right outside of the outside linebackers. They get 9 people up in the line of scrimmage.
Well, Craig Furlong is up, and here's a look at what happened to him.
I mean, that is a textbook hit by Stephen Day.
It looks like his left knee might have buckled underneath him, and this turf at McMahon Stadium is old but still has some grip to it. And as a result of the incompletion, in to try the field goal is Bruce Parsons. This from 45 yards. His longest of the year is 48. Long enough and good. And the Calgary Dinosaurs strike first as Bruce Parsons hits from 45 yards out. And the leading scorer in Canada West gives the Dinosaurs the lead. We're back with more from the North-South Shrine Bowl in just a moment. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary, where the Dinosaurs have just taken a 3-0 lead over the Alberta Golden Bears. And after losing 11 yards in their first 2 offensive plays, the Golden Bears have the ball back, and we'll see what they can do with it from their own 35-yard line. Robert Taylor, the quarterback. Michael Weiss and Jay Hamilton in the backfield. Here's Hamilton, stopped for no gain right at the 35-yard line. And the tackle was made once again by Trent Schmulin, and he is a load in the middle of that defensive line.
And Trent Schmulin is their best defensive lineman. He has 4 quarterback sacks. He has 1 in today's game. And their linebackers led by veteran Chris Penner, outside linebacker in his 5th year. Defensive secondary, John Kalin, the starting quarterback at the beginning of this season. They said he is their best athlete. He has to play. They put him back over in the secondary.
2nd and 10. Alberta has still not gained a yard.
375.
The fake to Hamilton, and Taylor's under pressure and dropped. This time dragged down by Brian Baker, who comes up from the defensive backfield to make the stop. And Alberta just keeps on moving backward.
Robert Taylor under a lot of pressure so far, but this is a halfback blitz by Brian Baker, who lines up outside. Calgary in a man scheme, playing the receiver's man coverage, and then Baker comes. They had nobody to pick him up.
4 plays for Alberta, minus 24 yards. If this was Jeopardy, they'd be getting the home game by now. McKenzie with a high putt. And taking it there is James Buchanan all the way back at the 30-yard line, and Buchanan is brought down at about the 42. A 63-yard punt by Scott McKenzie.
There.
And the Calgary Dinosaurs will step back onto the field, and here's a look at the Alberta defense that you talked about a moment ago.
And they have some great people on that defensive line. Joe Kusi comes in at 6'3", 290 pounds. He has play right end. He'll also play in the nose. Good linebacking crew led by Kevin Algajar. And great secondary, Paul Yusupchuk, who is the leading interceptor in Canada West this season with 4 interceptions.
Here's Sean Latter with his first carry of the ball game, and not much there as he's brought down after a gain of about a yard. There's Stephen Day, who made that crushing hit on Craig Furlong in that first offensive series.
Alberta's defense, yeah.
Furlong has still not returned to the football game. Gain was about 2, make it 2nd and 8. Hansen, nowhere to go, and he is sacked on the play, brought down by number 41, Peter White. And he too now has 4 sacks to share the team lead.
Ben Fairbrother, the left tackle in his first season, is getting a little bit of a lesson from Peter White, the outside linebacker. You can see that he can't handle him. Also, Dave Evans in there to help out as well. But Jason Assen goes down.
You can see the style and the type of football games that Alberta has played this year. The Golden Bears lead Canada West in sacks, but they also lead in sacks allowed. So as aggressive as they are on defense, other teams are equally as aggressive when the Alberta offense is on the field. And Parsons mishandles the snap, but still gets an end-over-end punt away. Mark Tobert from the 41-yard line has some room, gets across midfield, and all the way down to about the Calgary 47-yard line. He's finally brought down there by Chris Lewis, number 37, a 32-yard punt, the return of 20, and Alberta will have excellent field position when we come back to Calgary. The midfield stripe, and it took a great punt return to do it, Jamie.
Now, this is the way you want to return a punt. Watch Tobert. He just takes the ball straight up the field. You know, you always hear coaches talk about running north and south. That's the way to do it. Don't worry about getting outside and waiting for your blocks to set up. Just take that ball and get up the field and get the best amount of yardage you can.
Well, we'll see what the Alberta offense can do. Now, you mentioned that Rob Lancaster started this season as Alberta's quarterback. He did not even make the trip. Has not dressed for the last 2 games. It's up to Robert Taylor, and thus far the Alberta offense has done nothing. In fact, less than nothing, losing 24 yards. They fake the draw play, and they go out to the flat. Complete over there to Michael Weiss, number 32. A flag is down as Weiss gets down to the 24-yard line. Only Weiss's 3rd reception of the season, and it may be for naught. Tackle was made by Dan Jeremiah. Outstanding 2nd-year player, and illegal block is the call against Alberta, so this indeed will come back. A 23-yard gain that is wiped out by the penalty, and Tom Wilkinson cannot be pleased with the way things have gone thus far.
Illegal block, number 22, Alberta. After the yards of gain will be first down.
John Nickel, the referee, makes the call, and since the infraction came after the gain was made, it will be a first down for Alberta at the 43-yard line. Alberta's first down of the football game. Canada throw on first down to Tobert, and he's got it down at the 35-yard line. Brian Baker is there to make the stop as Tobert gets about 8.
You know, this Calgary defense right now, they're starting to smell blood. I mean, they're starting to come with a lot of folks. They're playing man coverage. You can see 44 Nightingale's coming. They brought all their linebackers. Now, for an experienced quarterback, I think this is a great defense for him to see because he doesn't have to worry about zones. He just has to pick up one receiver and then throw it and deliver the ball to him. And in that case, it was Mark Tobert.
On 2nd and 2. Weiss and Hamilton in the I formation in the backfield. The give to Hamilton. Hamilton gets about 2. Tackled there by Mike Nightingale, the linebacker, and he should have the first down. It will be close. If you remember last year's North-South Shrine Bowl game, it was Chris Conrad, another linebacker, who had an outstanding day, and that helped make him an All-Canadian last year.
And we'll look at a couple of changes here as we look at Roger Ryanson, number 34. Last season, he played linebacker, but at the beginning of this season, they had him playing the safety position. He's not very big. He's 6 feet, 205 pounds. They felt that they could put Kalen back at safety and then put Roger Ryanson back at outside linebacker, and they would be a better football team.
Hamilton was just short of the first down. It's about half a yard, and Tom Wilkinson is in the mood to gamble. And like Peter Cannellan, Tom Wilkinson is up in the press box here at McMahon Stadium. And so his assistant coaches, many of whom were former teammates with the Edmonton Eskimos, will direct things from the sideline. So 3rd and less than a yard from the 33-yard line. Taylor is straight ahead. He didn't get far. I don't know if he's got it. Taylor was stopped initially, and we'll we'll see where they mark his forward progress, but I don't think he handled the snap very well, Jim.
No, you know what you're trying to do in the quarterback sneak, you try and wedge it so the offensive linemen are going to block down one way and the quarterback slides either way that is signaled. But I tell you what, a great surge by that Calgary defensive line. Now he should be going right to his right, trying to get down low.
It'll be very close, but not close enough. And so the Calgary Dinosaurs turn the Golden Bears away on a 3rd and less than a yard gamble. And so the Dinosaurs take over on downs.
And you know, there's no way in the world that when a team gives you a yard and you have less than a yard to gain that you should ever be stopped on that, because you have the advantage of knowing snap count. You know where the play is going to be going. You have to give credit to the Calgary defense. They did a great job.
So the Dinosaurs 1st and 10 from their own 33. A John Cutler field goal would have tied this football game. Instead, the Golden Bears come away empty. Here's Ladder on the tops, and he goes nowhere as Stephen Day comes up to make another tackle. And Day has been all over the field so far for the Alberta Golden Bears.
And Gore, one of the things we were talking about, you take a look at all these people. This is a defensive back up here. This is a defensive back up here. They've got 9 people in here. It's tough to run the ball. We can run it forward a little bit. Okay, now freeze it right here. Now there's Day right there. He's got outside leverage, primary contain. He's trying to force the ball back inside. Run it. Okay, maintains the block, and he gets out there and makes the tackle. I mean, that is great defense. Where the weakness is, you have to be able to throw the ball on 1st down effectively.
2nd and 13, and the pass is a one-hopper. He was looking over there for number 24, Ryan Williams, but the pass goes incomplete, and so Jason Asson and the offense will go to the bench. And one thing Peter Connellan has said, that if Asson is not effective, then John Kalin, who is playing safety in this football game, will come in and play quarterback for this team.
Well, I talked to Tom Wilkinson as well about the differences in quarterback. I said, who would you rather face if you had the choice? He was kind of, you know, sitting on the fence there a little bit, but he did say that John Kalin's running ability gave him a bit of a scare.
11 men up for the Golden Bears. A one-hop snap, pressure on Bruce Parsons. He gets a high punt away. Tobert will take it at his own 52-yard line. And Tobert gets across midfield and down to the 50-yard line. A punt of 28 yards, a return of 8. And we talked to Calgary Dinosaur coach Peter Connellan before this game about the importance of this Shrine Bowl contest.
Well, certainly it's a very tough, competitive situation we have with Alberta, and they're in a good position to make a playoff spot. So we're in a good position if we can win this football game to solidify our chance to get in the playoffs. So it's critical to our playoff opportunities.
Michael Weiss, the first man through, and he's got a 1st down, a gain of 12 all the way down to the Calgary 38-yard line. And Jamie, one thing about the Calgary Dinosaurs, their tie against Saskatchewan was the first in the school's history, and a lot of people were wondering how they'd react this week.
Yeah, that's a great trap right there that Alberta executed, giving the ball to Weiss. I mean, they came right down the linebacker, Nightingale. That's a super job inside.
And Alberta, after struggling offensively early on, has now put together some decent plays, and now has a 1st down at the 38-yard line. It's over 6 minutes to play in the 1st quarter. Calgary leading 3-0. Taylor looking downfield for Senny Leong for the end zone, diving and just out of his hands as Senny Leong was in behind the coverage provided there by Colin Newman.
I tell you, Alberta got the kind of situation they wanted. Man-on-man coverage with Senny Leong and Colin Newman. Senny Leong, the fastest member of this U of A football team, with 4.5 40 speed at 170 yards receiving versus University of Manitoba earlier this season as well. He is their deep threat. Stretches out, just cannot quite hold on.
So it brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line. And flags are down. It might be too much time taken by Robert Taylor and company, and that would be a very costly penalty because it would likely take Alberta out of field goal range. And indeed it is. Procedure against Alberta. Angelo Santucci in the white hat, another former Eskimo.
Violation number 19, Alberta. 2nd down repeated.
And St. Mary's Husky.
Not to be missed. So the penalty pushes Alberta back to the 44-yard line. Now 2nd and 15. Taylor has time, looking for Weiss, who's got lots of room to run. Weiss gets down about the 30-yard line, but is turned back there. A good tackle is made on the play by Rob Schroff, and Weiss will be a couple yards short of the first down. And this time Alberta will not gamble. John Cutler comes onto the field.
Well, Calgary are playing what they call a max 2 defense. Man underneath, 2-man zone on top. Nobody has Michael Weiss coming out. The linebacker's supposed to, but he sneaks out and makes a great one-handed tip and tips it back into himself. But what I like about the running backs here is that they get their shoulders right up the field after they make the reception. They're not trying to run to the sidelines.
John Cutler, whose father Dave is the CFL's all-time leader.
And when was the last time you saw a guy kick straight on?
Not since his dad. Or Cutler from 33 yards is good. And this football game is tied at 3. So Cutler does it for the green and gold, just like the old days. We'll be back to McMahon Stadium in a moment. Back at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. And it's the 1993 North-South Shrine Bowl. The Alberta Golden Bears and Calgary Dinosaurs tied at 3. And the interesting thing about this series, Jamie, is no matter where they are in the standings, no matter how unusual their records might be, and no matter how far apart they are, it's always close when they play.
And I'll tell you how important this series really is. We go back to 1989, 1990, when Calgary was off to a great start. They came in and played the Shrine Bowl game. Trent Brown, who's now with the Edmonton Eskimos, scored a winning touchdown the last couple of minutes of the game. Calgary lost 4 of their next 5 games after that. They never recouped after that, because this is a very important game. It's the second half of their season that's starting right now. And Calgary hasn't won any games at home. Or excuse me, Alberta haven't won any games at home.
Dinosaurs take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Pass it to Freiter. And Freiter fights for some extra yards and will be close to a first down as he gets up to about the 45-yard line.
Those are the kind of things we were talking about, Gore, that on first down they should be throwing the ball because they have their defensive backs, their inside halfbacks up very, very tight. They bring the inside receiver out. Freiter just goes right into the middle of the zone and just sits there and waits for the ball to be delivered by Assen. And does a nice job of getting up the field and getting close to a first down.
Assen's first completion of the football game. Just short of the first down, 2nd and 1. And Assen taking no chances, will jump straight ahead. And the Dinosaurs have their first down of the football game. Assen, not what you call a running quarterback. He has 4 carries for 9 yards this season. All 9 yards came on 1 carry.
But take a look at a nice surge by the offensive line. Halder Thorkelson, his offensive center, Errol Anderson, and Brian Welpley. Pretty good group. Not very many people expected a lot from this team offensively because of all the losses in the offensive line, but they seem to have put it together.
It is a first down, and here comes Sean Ladder. Ladder with room in the backfield gets across midfield and down to about the Alberta 52-yard line. Ladder, the leading rusher in the nation, with 387 yards coming into this game.
And you take a look, he is the workhorse for them offensively. Ladder 73 carries coming into this game compared to Dave Evans with only 16. But a nice job to get it off tackle. You know, you can't play 10-man football, and all coaches will tell you the receivers have to make blocks, and Mike Freiter does a pretty good job of getting downfield and getting in someone's face.
Gain was 10. It's a first down for the Dinosaurs at the Alberta 52-yard line. And it works so well, they go right back to Ladder, and here he goes again into the Alberta defensive backfield. And Ladder has another first down, a gain of 16 yards. And all of a sudden, the Dinosaurs are gaining momentum.
Okay, Gore, we were talking about last time. He's got primary contain. He's trying to work up the field. What they're trying to do here is run, lead off and through here, giving it to the back Ladder. Just run it. Okay, freeze it right there. You can see everybody's taken care of. They got kicked out, contained. They're sealing inside. Evans is leading it, and then Ladder just cuts it right up the field. Roll it.
And here comes Ladder again, breaking outside and all the way down to the Alberta 19-yard line. Is finally dragged out of bounds by Mike Hogan, the defensive back. This time the gain is 17 yards, and on his last 3 carries, Ladder has gained 43 yards.
I think that's a case that the play was supposed to actually go to the right side, but I think he starts to read it. Everybody's collapsing inside. Ladder has the kind of talent to get back outside and bounce it outside and rushes for 17 yards.
And all of a sudden, Calgary going into the ground and has been very effective. 1st and 10 now from the Alberta 19-yard line. Under 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. The game is tied at 3. This time they go to the lead back, David Evans. And Evans gets maybe a yard. That time Ladder uses a decoy. And there's a loss of a yard on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 11.
Kevin Algajar making the tackle, playing from his linebacker spot. What I'm amazed at, Gore, with the University of Alberta is how many guys come from McNally Composite High School. I mean, it must have a great football program there.
And much of the credit goes to a gentleman named Larry Dufresne, who helped build that program. Another fellow named Jim Gilfillan, 2 great high school coaches in the Edmonton area. Jason Asset over the middle looking for Freider, who was open. But the pass is too far, and the coverage provided by Paul Yosipchuk. There's a flag on the play. And we'll let referee John Nicola Company sort this out. And it's offside against the Dinosaurs. Don't imagine Alberta's in the mood to give Calgary another shot at this.
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to decline it because I think they just dodged the bullet right there. Freider was open.
Offside. Calgary number 25 declined. 3rd down.
James Buchanan was offside, so in comes Bruce Parsons and the field goal unit. This attempt will come from the 27-yard line. His first was from 45 yards out. The wind slightly at his back. Ryder gets the snap down, and Parsons puts it through, and the Calgary Dinosaurs are back on top. After Bruce Parsons' 2nd field goal of the football game gives the Dinosaurs a 6-3 lead. You know, Jamie, we saw the running attack working so well for the Calgary Dinosaurs in that series. It's interesting to note that the top 5 rushing performances in CIAU history have been turned in the last 2 seasons. And it seems like the run is really coming back to Canadian University football.
I really think it is, and especially out west here. I think people used to think that the Western Conference used to throw the ball all the time, and they're throwing outs, and everybody's throwing the ball over the place. But they have rediscovered the run, and I'll tell you what, they've got some great running backs out in the Canada West.
1st and 10 for the Golden Bears from the 35. Taylor tosses up to Jay Hamilton. Flags are down as Hamilton gets up to about the 40-yard line and a gain of 5 yards. Well, we mentioned how great this rivalry is. Tom Wilkinson talked a little bit about it before the game.
In this conference, you do have the rivalry because Calgary is Calgary, but you can't afford to not play up to your 100% ability at any game, or you can lose to anybody in this conference. So this is just the next game on our schedule. They happen to be a really good team, and we've got to go out and play better than we did the last time.
Illegal substitution is the call.
2nd down.
And that apparently was an incorrect call. So there's no flag on the play, and the gain of 4 stands. Just to add to what Tom Wilkinson said, being from this area, the rivalry between Edmonton and Calgary starts when you're about 6 or 7 years old. Anything you do in Edmonton, you face Calgary, and vice versa. It goes through high school sports, any level, any field you choose. 2nd and 6 from the 39, and they get it over there to Mark Tobin, and Tobin has the first down as the tackle is made on the play by defensive back John Kalin, the safety, who also plays some quarterback.
That's a very nice read by Robert Taylor because they had heat coming at him from the outside, and he just looks to see Tobert, and he says, I'm just going to deal to you right away. He's almost a hot receiver. And if Calgary are going to try and come after Robert Taylor, he's going to have to make a lot of those reads this afternoon.
Gain was 8. And it's a first down for the Golden Bears at their own 47-yard line. Under a minute now to play here in the first quarter. Hamilton tries the short side. Flags are down as Hamilton gets up to about the 47-yard line. A gain of maybe 2 yards.
You know, that's a great job by Rob Richards, number 54. I mean, he's not getting the credit for the tackle. That's Schmulin coming down there, but he does not allow the play to get outside. Strings it out.
Holding, Alberta number 68. Penalty is declined. Second down.
Riley Spears, the right tackle, is called for holding. And he's at the top of your screen.
Just take a look at the top of your screen. That's right, Rob Richards, number 54. Does a nice job. Now, he's actually the guy that they were holding. Nevertheless, he still turned the play back inside.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Taylor tried the 3-step drop, nothing was open, and he in turn got dropped by Chris Zaharko, number 60. So almost a run and shoot type of play for Alberta, but that time it was Zaharko shooting through.
You can see Robert Taylor looking out to the left. Now he's looking right, but you know what? He's got to get rid of the ball instantly. He doesn't have that opportunity to sit back in the pocket in this type of situation. That's a quick route.
Zaharko, a former Calgary Colt, product of the strong junior football system here in Alberta. The loss was 5 on the play, so back to punt is Scott McKenzie. High spiraling kick, his 2nd straight great punt. Taken by Buchanan at the 15-yard line, gets up to about the 25-yard line before he's brought down there by Sunil Matthew. So Scott McKenzie, who they say will be a good pro punter, shows us his stuff there as he boomed another one. Calgary leads by 3 in the 1993 North-South Shrine Bowl. As we get set for the 2nd quarter, here's a look at what happened in the first 15 minutes of this football game.
You can see that Calgary's doing everything on the ground right now, rushing the football 44 yards. Only completing 1 pass for 9 yards. On the other side, now it's Alberta that is throwing the ball a little bit better. But the key thing there is that they've been sacked a number of times, and they got to watch that.
You know what? If you're the Alberta Golden Bears, I think you take that first quarter.
Absolutely.
You're down 6-3. You held your own. You had some opportunities. Tom Wilkinson's biggest concern is that his football team gets behind. And when they get behind, they're simply not capable of coming back. They've got to grind it out and keep it close. And so far, that's what they're doing. Calgary opens the 2nd quarter from the 25-yard line, and here comes Ladder again. And Ladder is finding gigantic holes in that offensive line, and this time he picks up 8.
Okay. The play is designed to go to the right side here, but this is what all great running backs have. It's vision. Just take a look. Ladder doesn't even miss a step. He has his head on the swivel. He sees that everything's opening up in the inside to the left, and he cuts it back there. I mean, that's a great skill that running back has to be able to see those kind of things develop.
Game was 8 at 2nd and 2. Ladder again. Has to get to the 25, and he'll be close. Checked out the 35. Ladder, as you mentioned, following in the footsteps of Craig Kittleson, the great Calgary Dinosaur running back. And Kittleson had a tryout with the Calgary Stampeders earlier this season, was released, but he's still working out and hoping to get a chance somewhere next year.
And just look at the tailbacks that they've had at this school. Elio Jeremiah, who's the 2nd all-time leading rusher in the CIAU. They had J.P. Escuerdo, Craig Kittleson. You know, now it's Sean Ladder's turn.
Not to mention 2 great fullbacks in Tim Petros and Tony Spallettini, both of whom played in the CFL. And I think a lot of the credit goes to the fact that the Calgary Dinosaurs are always able to find quality offensive linemen. The Dinosaurs turn out as many CFL offensive linemen as any university in the country. But what a great offensive tradition here with the Calgary Dinosaurs. And we'll get to the quarterbacks in a minute. It was a first down. Down from the 35. They fake the Ladder. Aston going over the top. Has Freider open, and the pass is just out of his reach as Freider got in behind the coverage provided by Ian Hills. One thing about Aston, Jamie, that's interesting, 6 touchdown passes this year, no interceptions. And that one, if it wasn't going to be caught by Freider, wouldn't be caught by anybody.
And actually, Alberta were gambling a lot here. You know, they were bringing all sorts of people. They brought defensive back Paul Yusupchuk, number 72. You'll see them start to come up into your screen. They're bringing the whole everybody right now. It's like an avalanche. Does a pretty good job, though, David Evans, of picking it up, and they had one-on-one coverage downfield just out of the reach of Mike Freider.
And remember that Aston has been working without Craig Furlong, who was lost early in this game after taking a crushing hit from Stephen Day. Furlong has remained on the Calgary bench, but we have not yet seen him return to this football game. On 2nd and 10 from the 35. Great receivers to the near side of the field. Aston quickly now delivers over the middle, and the pass is almost picked up as it went through the hands of the intended receiver, number 24, Brian Williams, and it was almost picked up there by Mike Hogan.
It's a good job by Jason Aston. He really delivers a bullet right here. But through the hands of Ryan Williams. If you saw the game last year, Ryan Williams was the prime reason why Calgary came back after being down 17-16 at halftime. He caught a touchdown pass in the 3rd quarter that really turned the game around.
Now Bruce Parsons will kick into the wind. Again, 11 men on the line of scrimmage for the Golden Bears, who came close to blocking his last effort. This time they set up the return. Tobert falls at the 45, and under CIAU rules, you're down immediately once your knee touches. So it's a punt of 30 yards and no return for Mark Tobert, but the Golden Bears again enjoy good field position.
You gotta watch this over. You got Jay up there. Good job, D.
Once again, we mentioned earlier, both head coaches are up in the press box for this game. What do you think of that, Jamie?
I'm not so sure. I guess it's their own personal preference. I think if you're a head coach, so it's nice to be down on the sidelines. You know, you should have your assistant coaches up in the booth. But I guess to each his own. I guess they feel that they can see what's going on and get a feel for the game a little bit better.
Taylor for Hamilton, and Hamilton makes the nice catch. He's finally brought down on the play by linebacker Chris Penner, but Hamilton, who is not noted as being an outstanding receiver, makes a great catch here.
Well, this is the kind of matchup that they'll take all day when you've got Chris Penner, you know, 6'2", 225. He's a linebacker, and you've got a very quick and speedy Jay Hamilton out of the backfield doing an out and then taking it up the field. First of all, as a quarterback, when you see that, you know that Chris Penner can't make the play because he has his back to you. So he can't see where the ball is, he can't locate it, he's not going to intercept it.
Gain of 16 sets up a first down for Alberta at the Calgary 49-yard line. 12.5 minutes to play here in the 2nd quarter. Taylor going back to Hamilton. This time the pass is just out of his reach. Mentioned that Taylor takes over for Rob Lancaster as the Alberta quarterback. What a horrible week for the Lancaster family. Ron Sr. has his Eskimos blown out by Winnipeg, and they're calling for his head in the Edmonton newspapers. Ron Jr.'s Manitoba Bisons have lost 3 straight, and Bob Lancaster is sitting on the bench for the Alberta Golden Bears. So the family that loves to talk football won't be liking the conversation this week. On 2nd and 10, Taylor, who's got the hot hand, once again throws it behind the intended receiver, Jay Hamilton. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, that's trouble that Calgary's been having with all day. They go to this, Alberta go to this trips left formation, 3 receivers left. They take 2 of them inside, they run them across the field, and then they leak out the back and they bring them back across the formation.
Just to finish the thought, I was mentioning Ron Lancaster Jr., and I wanted to give credit where credit is due. What an outstanding job he's done in Manitoba as he brings that football program back, and he's a class guy who's done a class job.
Yeah, really. I think what's hurting him is they lost all their defensive personnel, and they can score a lot of points, but then they're not able to stop people from scoring on them.
Strider had nowhere to turn. He's brought down immediately, and down to make the stop is Sean Irwin. A punt of 31 yards and a return of just 2, and lots of other action today in the CIAU. At halftime, the 5th-ranked St. Mary's Huskies lead St. Francis Xavier by a count of 14-0. That game being played in Halifax.
And I think St. Mary's were scared because of what happened last week. They had to kick a field goal the last play of the game to beat St. FX 29-27. So that might have been their wake-up call.
And the Huskies would dearly love another chance to get to the Vanier Cup to make up for last year's 31-0 loss to Queens. And of course, St. Mary's defeated these Calgary Dinosaurs in the Atlantic Bowl to get there. Bladder has nowhere to go, and a great defensive play is made there by defensive back Sean Cottery, who comes up from his halfback position to make the stop. It's a loss of 2, and we talked about Alberta having struggles offensively, but Calgary's having problems too.
They are. And you can see, you know, as we talked about on first down, Alberta are starting to bring their halfbacks up tight. It's very tough to run the ball outside. I think where they're having success is running the ball inside. They have to run in those people, inside of those people.
So it brings up a 2nd and 12 for the Dinosaurs now at their own 13-yard line. And the longer this game is close, the happier the Alberta Golden Bears are. Hassan with all day over the middle, and again the receiver is belted. This time the catch is made by Ryan Williams. And man, the Alberta Golden Bears make those receivers pay, don't they?
You know, this really shows me the maturity of Jason Hassan right now. He's looking left to try and hit Mike Freiter. Freiter's not open, but he has the knack to come back and look inside and find the second receiver.
And Paul Yosipchuk came up from his safety position and really hung a lick on Williams, who hung on for the catch and a gain of 17. First down for the Dinosaurs from the 30. Lanner again finds a hole and gets up across the 40 to the 42-yard line. A gain of 12.
They talk about him wanting to run the ball inside. You know, they're just going to kick him out. They're going to take him on. He's going to lead through and try and get him, and then he's going to be the ball carrier. We can run it. I mean, there's nothing real fancy here. He just sees the daylight and then gets in there and goes for it. And when he gets into the open field, he is a dangerous back.
1st and 10 for the Dinosaurs from the 42. All kinds of early movement brings all kinds of flags. And one thing that absolutely killed the Golden Bears in last year's Shrine Bowl game, penalties. And this time it's the Dinosaurs who are called for procedure.
Legal procedure, number 66 red, first down repeated.
All-Canadian Ron Meyer gets called for moving a little early. And Ron Meyer from Notre Dame College in Wilcox, Saskatchewan, a school noted for turning out great hockey players. It's turned out some good football players as well.
I remember when Ron Meyer was a freshman, you know, he was 6'4", 220 pounds, 6'5", 285. He's grown and got into the weight room over the past couple of years.
You'll want to get to the grocery store before he does. Hassan, the screen pass to Ladder, who's got lots of room. Ladder evades the one tackle, gets across midfield and down to the 48-yard line. Finally pushed out of bounds by Mike Hogan, a gain of 26 yards as he just ran away from the Alberta pursuit.
Mike Hogan, Dinosaur, first down.
Okay, here's Ladder right here. Now he's going to be blocking Noonan. Noonan's going to come in and they're going to meet. And then Ladder's just going to slide out here and they're going to run the screen. You roll it. Okay, right here, he fakes the block. Now he turns, and then Hassan gives him the ball, and now he's running all the way down the field on the short side. You know, yesterday in practice, I got a chance to see him up close, and boy, he has the real big thighs, the big legs.
They fake to Ladder again. Now Hassan looking for some time, and an open receiver can't find one, and finally, working back to the ball is Don Blair, but Blair is right back to the original line of scrimmage. Probably a loss of a yard. And Blair taking over for the injured Craig Furlong.
And you know, Jason Hassan is going to come over and probably say, hey, thanks a lot, Don. You know, you're saving my butt out here. Coming back to the football, that's a sign of a good receiver, understanding what's going on out there. His quarterback's in trouble, decides to come back and give him a hand. There's no worse feeling, Gore, than when you're back there trying to run around and all the receivers are still running down the field. You're saying, hey, I can't throw the ball 75 yards.
The loss was a yard. It's 2nd and 11 from the Alberta 48-yard line. Hassan throwing off his wrong foot, had a man open, but overthrew James Buchanan, who had slid in behind the Alberta coverage.
When you're rolling out, they're going to try and take James Buchanan. A nice move in the line of scrimmage to make sure they didn't get jammed. And then he does the out. Ball just overthrown, but that's a very nice escape move when he's inside, because the receiver or the defensive back is trying to keep him inside to funnel him into the next defender at the second level.
And there's an injured Alberta Golden Bear on the play. I believe it's Peter White, the linebacker, who's down. And I think Terry, our cameraman downfield, almost made the catch on that pass for James Buchanan.
Or the Fun to Run GEO tracker. The Dinosaurs wish to thank all Chevrolet.
Peter White is the injured Alberta Golden Bear. We mentioned Calgary lost slot back Craig Furlong earlier, and these games traditionally hard hitting. I can remember going to them when I lived in Edmonton, and there were some tremendous Alberta-Calgary games, especially in the early 80s when both teams were outstanding. I mean, the Dinosaurs had Greg Vavra at quarterback. Alberta had an outstanding line. 3 members of that Alberta offensive line went on to play in the Canadian Football League, and they used to just crush each other.
And they had a pretty good little quarterback as well, Forrest Kennard.
Forrest Kennard was a great little quarterback, and Jamie Crawford took over from him and quarterbacked Alberta to a Vanier Cup appearance the year following, and they've really had trouble finding a quarterback since then that can really get the job done. And other teams in Canada West have been successful, and Alberta has not been, largely because the search for a quarterback has been difficult.
It's not a good sign for University of Alberta or Peter White.
White unable to put any weight on that injured left knee, and will monitor his progress to see if he can return to the football game. Bruce Parsons will punt from about his own 49-yard line. 2 receivers back now for Alberta. Parsons trying to angle us towards the sidelines. Great punt. Senny Leon has to field it at about the 5-yard line. What a great punt by Bruce Parsons. 44 yards, no return, and Alberta will begin at its own 5.
Boy, that is a great punt.
So Alberta trails by 3 and finds itself in a pretty deep hole. Welcome back to Calgary, where battles against Edmonton are traditional for everyone involved, and we asked Peter Cannellan about that before this game.
Well, there's a lot of hype, just in football with the Stampeders and the Eskimos and the Flames and the Oilers, and certainly the same thing happens with the University of Calgary and the University of Alberta. And the players are very conscious of that, and I don't have to really say very much because we have a large number of players returning from last year, and they know what happened last year in the second game. So I think it's self-motivation, and that's what it has to be.
Just to add to that, as you see the press box where both head coaches are tonight, Kevin Lowe of the Edmonton Oilers once told me that even though they won the Stanley Cup one year, they lost the season series to the Calgary Flames, and fans considered that season a failure. 1st and 10 from the 5. 8:23 to play in the first quarter, and Jay Hamilton throws a great lead block as breaking out of the backfield is John Price, and Price quickly gives Alberta field position all the way up to the 31-yard line, a gain of 26 yards, and Jay Hamilton took the fake and made a great block for Alberta.
They're running inside trap here, so they're trying to block down in here and trap up in here. This linebacker here overruns the play. He steps inside and he misses. Okay, run it. Bang, there's the trap right there. Okay, and then he overruns it. And now it's a foot race. That's a great call down at that position of the field.
And many of the Dinosaurs looking for Hamilton to make the carry on first down, and a great time for John Price, who had 2 touchdowns last week, to break this game open and get Alberta out of some nasty field position. 8:13 to play here in the second quarter. 1st and 10 Alberta from the 31-yard line. Taylor mishandles the snap. The ball is still loose, and Calgary may have it back. Taylor never could get a handle on that football, but Alberta finally did recover.
Fumble by Taylor. Recovered by.
That's one concern that all coaches always have. This has to be automatic all the time. We've seen it twice today. This is the second time. We saw it earlier in the 3rd down and short. Bobbled the snap. That caused a turnover as well, and here almost caused them a turnover. That has to be automatic.
Lots of 3 sets up 2nd and 13. That's always the quarterback's fault, right, Jamie?
No, it's always the center's fault. Now, you're right. It usually is the quarterback's fault.
Taylor, the 3-step drop, nobody open. Now has Hamilton, and Hamilton dives for it, but can't make the catch. Out to provide the coverage for the Dinosaurs was John Kalin, the safety. And Kalin, as we mentioned earlier, was Calgary's starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. He now plays safety for the Dinosaurs, and this may get him into the pros because Kalen, as a Canadian quarterback, would be a long shot to play in the CFL. As a safety and as good an athlete as he is, he may very well make it to the CFL.
And you touched on it, Gord. He is their best athlete in that football team, so they're going to put him in a lot of different positions to play, notably playing in the defensive secondary right now.
Scott McKenzie has been booming punts for Alberta. This one will come from his own 23, and it's another high driving kick. Freiter from the 43. Looking for some blocks. Reverses his field and gets a pretty good return up to the 54-yard line. A 39-yard kick, a return of 11. And with 7 minutes to play in the second quarter, the Dinosaurs enjoy good field position.
And you can thank Bruce Parsons because of that. I mean, he boomed a big kick last time the Calgary Dinosaurs had the ball.
First down, Dinosaurs. Football at their 53-yard line.
But I'm sure right now the Alberta Golden Bears have to feel very confident in how things are going right now. I mean, here they came in against the number 3 ranked team in the nation. A lot of people thinking this one could or had the potential to be a blowout, but they're really hanging in there tough.
6-3 Calgary leads, 1st and 10 from the Dinosaur 53-yard line. After the throw on first down has Buchanan. And Buchanan has a world of trouble as he is wrapped up right away by Mike Hogan. And they'll mark it as a gain of, we'll say, 5.
And you notice Calgary, they are having success throwing the ball on first down. Again, James Buchanan goes down. Now, primarily, he has been their big play receiver. He is the guy that's averaging 25.5 yards per reception. So look for him. They're trying to set something up here. I think you're going to see him go deep here in a few moments.
2nd and 5 now for the Dinosaurs inside Alberta territory at the 52-yard line. Draw play to David Evans, and what a great call as Evans gets down to the 40.
Everybody's starting to go outside here to set up the blocks, but this is Evans right here. He's just going to sneak in here. Quarterback's going to come out, sprint draw, and hand it to him. Let's roll it. It's really nice. You can see how everybody gets penetration. And then he just stands there. It's a very good job by Evans and their offensive line.
Gain was 11. First down for the Dinosaurs at the Alberta 40-yard line. Afton goes back to the pass. Backside had a man open, but the receiver, Don Blair, had to come back to the football. It was a bit underthrown, and the pass ball is incomplete.
Hey, that's tough, Jason Aston. I know that James Buchanan's going to come back to the huddle and say, hey, listen, I was wide open down the field.
Some of the Alberta fans who made the 3-hour trip by bus, but they're outnumbered by the Calgary Dinosaurs in attendance here, and a pretty good crowd here at McMahon Stadium for the Shrine Bowl football game.
Yeah, it's a very good crowd. They seem to have their best crowds for this game every year, of course, because of the rivalry. I think 2 years ago when we were here, I think they had close to 10,000. So,
for those who don't know, McMahon Stadium is actually owned by the University of Calgary, and the Dinosaurs and others have first call in the stadium. On 2nd and 10, Aston under pressure, throwing to Freiter, but Freiter can't get to it. And I believe we'll see Bruce Parsons at the field goal unit once again. Coverage provided there by Stephen Day, who's having a strong day for Alberta in the defensive backfield.
And actually, they're lining him up almost like a linebacker just outside Dave Noonan, and they're bringing it. Boy, I tell you, when Jason Aston starts to sprint out, they're bringing those linebackers and also that halfback to that side.
So Parsons will attempt a 47-yard field goal. He's been good from 45 and 27. This to give Calgary a 6-point lead. Parson puts it up and good. He's 3 for 3, and the Dinosaurs lead the Golden Bears by 6 as Bruce Parsons does it again, and the Dinosaurs extend their lead. We're back to Calgary in a moment. First and 10 for the Golden Bears from the 35-yard line. Under 5 minutes to play, and the Bears trail by 6. This time they give to the lead back, and again it is John Price on the carry, and Price has A gain of 6.
Well, Calgary are playing that 43 look, and it's a 43 exchange where they have their linebackers inside. And again, they run trap. This time they run it inside, and you can see, again, it opens up for John Price.
So it's a 2nd and 4 situation from about the 41-yard line for Robert Taylor in this Alberta offense. And this is as good as the Alberta offense has looked in quite a while. Taylor looking for Senny Leon, but it was almost picked off by his opposite number, Colin Newman. And if Newman had been able to make the catch there, he was gone.
And you know, if I have one little criticism of Robert Taylor, one thing is he's not getting enough depth here. He's got to accelerate his feet and get back and get set 3 yards deep and then stand. You see he's kind of drifting back, and then when he sees his receiver, he's trying to make the throw. No, get back there in a hurry, get your feet set, and then pick out your receiver and deliver the football.
So again, it'll be up to Scott McKenzie, and he has been booming them today. And the snap is over his head. McKenzie looking for the end zone to try to give up the safety, which he will do.
Smart play.
What a great job by Scott McKenzie, because had he fallen at the 5, Calgary would likely have scored a touchdown. So Scott McKenzie gives up 2, but saves Alberta a bundle.
And you know what might have helped him here? His size. He's 6'2", 205 pounds. Not an easy guy to bring down, and to pick that ball up on the run and make sure he gets into the end zone. What a heads-up play. That could have been disaster for Alberta.
Well, a heads-up play by Scott McKenzie, who turns what could have been disaster into just a bad development for Alberta. And you see Peter White, the linebacker who was injured earlier, heading off the field. He has a possible fracture of his left ankle, and he is heading to the hospital for x-ray. So now it's a free kick for the Alberta Golden Bears, and the Dinosaurs will get the ball back with 3:34 to play and an 11-3 lead. And John Cutler will perform the duties for Alberta from the 35-yard line. Cutler has the lone points for Alberta in this football game, a 38-yard field goal that came in the first quarter. This is Chris Lewis, and Lewis is nailed at the 26-yard line.
They say the rules
Every ball carrier gets rocked. Sorry, Jim.
They say the rules for special teams is hit anything that moves, and you can certainly see Alberta doing the same thing.
You'll get a great look at it.
Trying to get to the wedge outside. And right here, boom.
Oof. And I think player coming in to make the hit was Sean Cotry, who's laid a couple licks on. One thing about these Alberta defensive backs, they're big and they love to hit. Paul Yusipchuk, the safety, is a prototypical pro safety. Here's Sean Ladder on first down, tripped up after a gain of maybe 1.
And I tell you, what a play by Dave Noonan. What a play by Dave Noonan. Playing that outside linebacker spot. They like to run that counter trap where they bring both guard and tackle from the backside. And they kick out, pull the tackle through. But Dave Noonan just strips the guard, Brian Welpley, and then makes a tackle on Sean Ladder.
Noonan, a 4th-year player and one of the leaders on this Alberta defense.
And you know, he's one of their fastest linebackers out of Vancouver College. He runs a 4.640.
Marking is no gain, 2nd and 10. Hassen completes it over the middle to Don Blair, but Blair is well short of the first down. As moving up to make the tackle for Alberta was Paul Yusipchuk, along with Dave Noonan.
And you know, Ashen initially wanted to go outside to James Buchanan, but at the last moment, Alberta changed their defense. They brought their corners up tight. They dropped their halfbacks off deep. And so he couldn't get the ball to Buchanan, so he took it underneath.
And there's an injured Alberta Golden Bear on the play. I think it's Randy Rust, defensive lineman. And all of a sudden, this Alberta defense is running into major injury problems. Now, don't forget, it is Randy Rust. Don't forget, there are roster limits in Canada West, but only on the visiting team. The home team can dress as many players as it likes, but the visitors are restricted, I believe it's to 37 players. And Alberta really would have a problem with Peter White out already and Randy Rush down.
Well, actually, one of the advantages actually Alberta would have playing in this game today, instead of that they're at UBC, Manitoba, or Saskatchewan, is that if they can bus to the game, they can dress more players. That's the rule. If they have to fly, they can only fly so many. And I think when they fly, they can only dress 32. But I think when they bus, they can dress 37.
Never understood that rule, to be honest with you.
Money, I guess, for it. That's what it is.
All right, while we have some time, let's check the out-of-town scores and look at this. What a huge game this is. And Laurier leads Toronto 14-8 in the second quarter. And York, look out, leading Western 7-3 in the second quarter. And can it be that Tom Arnott's team is finally going to break that streak? Waterloo leading McMaster 3-0 in the second quarter, another OUAA action. And we'll keep you up to date throughout the day on what's going on as Guelph is pounding Windsor as well, 35-1. And Guelph, a much better team than the 1-2 record indicates. What a tough schedule the Griffins had to open this season. And Randy Rust is heading off the field. And wait a minute, how did you get here? Shouldn't they be at the St. FX game?
Now, how's in New Brunswick? When the North Shore, the Bay of Chaleur.
Oh my goodness. And the punt by Parson goes out of bounds, and now the Calgary punter is shaken up. So injuries beginning to play a major factor, but Parson should be okay. And he's accounted for 9 of his team's 11 points. And we'll return on TSN in just a moment. Well, the shock is still settling into my broadcast partner here. Could it be that the University of Western Ontario Mustangs will be the first team in 5 years to lose to York?
Could be.
Getting swallow hard for that one.
Could be. Yeah. Get the paddles up here. I'm going to have a heart attack.
First and 10 for Alberta from the 51, and Taylor's looking deep, and Cindy Leon broke the pattern off, and the closest man to the ball was the safety, John Kalin. So Taylor saw one thing, but Cindy Leong saw something else altogether. And they'll regroup on second down. And one thing Tom Wilkinson talked to me about before this football game was how his team had to perform on first down. He said, our team gets into trouble on second and long. And so far in this football game, they haven't had many second and long situations, but this is one of them.
No, they haven't. They've been running the ball pretty well inside, but you still have to keep people honest and throw the ball on first down.
Second and 10. And again, miscommunication between the quarterback and receiver. Mark Tobert broke it inside, and Taylor threw to the sideline.
And, you know, at the end of that play, you can see both players kind of look at one another with those little question marks over their head, saying, like, hey, hold it, I thought I was going in, and no, I thought you were going out, and, well, let's go to the sidelines and talk about it a little bit.
Well, they're both going out, as it turns out. And Scott McKenzie will come back into punt. 2:15 to play here in the second quarter, and it's been a pretty close game so far. Defenses have dominated this football game thus far, and Scott McKenzie has done a great job kicking for Alberta. This one not his best. A tumbling kick that bounces back towards the line of scrimmage. Kreider might have touched the football, and now there are flags down as McKenzie hustled downfield to get after it. That'll be interesting to see what they rule here.
Well, they throw the flag anyway that it's no yards because there's an Alberta Golden Bear in there, but now he's talking to the official saying, I am the kicker, I'm allowed to get in there and get after the ball. He almost picked it up on the dead run and took it in. So they're going to wave this off.
See what John Nickel has to say. Illegal block against Calgary, as it turns out.
Now the ball bounces up nice and high here. Now watch McKenzie just come into your screen right here. He almost picks that up on the fly, and if he catches it, he's gone for a TD.
Flag is Alberta number 33, no yards. He is the punter, no foul. Illegal block, number 65, Calgary, first down.
Chris Penner, the linebacker, is called for an illegal block, so it pushes the Dinosaurs back to their own 28-yard line. And time of possession, which was pretty much even after the first quarter, is beginning to tilt heavily in Calgary's favor. Pass to the throw at first down. It's all kinds of time, and a receiver open. It's Kreider. And Freider is up to the 42-yard line. The tackle made by Kevin Algar, the linebacker. A gain of 14.
You can really see the experience in Mike Freider when he goes down and runs a route, finds the zone, and then he turns around and comes back to the quarterback. Watch, you see the defenders are retreating while Freider starts to work back towards his quarterback. He's working back right here, and there's that hole. Then he turns his shoulders and gets up the field.
First and 10 from the 44 with under 2 minutes to play now, and this time it's Calgary's turn to play after you, my dear Alphonse, as Aston throws to the sidelines, and Freider was standing on the hash marks.
Now this play is going to be very key for Alberta, because with 1 minute and 49 seconds left, you know they'd like to get the ball back and try and get the ball in field goal position.
Boy, how big was that play by Scott McKenzie, though, when the snap went over his head on the punt to only give up the safety and keep his team in the football game. Pass on second down, looking deep. Freider was open, and he has it. The pass is tipped right to Freider, and Freider dives for the end zone, but they'll mark him down at the 1. Unbelievable. Ian Hiltz going for the interception, tipped it right into Freider's hands.
And you know, Stephen Day was there as well, number 21. They had him covered perfectly. Now Ian Hiltz is coming underneath. Now you're going to see Stephen Day come from on top, right there. And it goes through Day's hands, and then it hits Hiltz, and Hiltz bounces it up, and then Freider takes the rebound and gets down to the 1-yard line.
A 67-yard gain. They don't come any stranger than that. And that pushes his receiving average up to 30 yards. Aston straight ahead, touchdown. Check that, it's Kalen who came into the football game to run it on short yardage. So Kalen comes in for one play and gets the touchdown. How good is that?
And that's his 4th touchdown of the season.
He's the quarterback sneak specialist.
I'd like to ask Jason Aston how he feels about that. I mean, Coach, you don't have any confidence that I can get 1 yard? But John Kalen takes it in for 6 points. Gives the Dinosaurs a 17-3 lead.
Well, Kalen is the team's 2nd leading rusher and is ranked 5th in the conference.
And you notice which side they're going to, Ron Meyer's side, the All-Canadian tackle side.
Wow. The Alberta Golden Bears moments ago were looking at an interception. Instead, they're looking at 6 from the Calgary Dinosaurs. And the Parsons convert makes it 7 and an 18-3 lead for the Dinosaurs. And what a play by Mike Freider. That's one for the Bucks. That will go down in Shrine Bowl history.
But they always tell receivers, keep your eye on the ball. And, you know, he certainly did. Never lost his concentration. Kept his feet. And you know, you consider who he's against. Mike Freider's only 5'9", and Stephen Day 6'1", Ian Hiltz a little over 6 feet. And the guy's got to be shaking his head coming off the field is Jason Aston, saying, hey, that could have been picked off. Yet it turns into a...
Well, at the end of the year, they don't ask how many.
That's right.
The question they ask. And a 67-yard completion, the difference on that series. And now Alberta will get the ball back with 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining. And things have gone very poorly for Alberta here in the 2nd quarter. They've been outscored 12-0, and traditionally, this is the Dinosaurs' best quarter. They outscore their opponents by an average of 14-3 in the 2nd quarter of football games. Senny Leon dragged down right away, and a great special teams play is made there by Gene Stahl.
And you know, look at how this touchdown really turned it up a notch for Calgary. Boy, they're just hustling their butts, getting down the field, and you can hear those hits all over the place. Alberta trying to get things set up. Just look at the collisions that are going on down here. I mean, this is incredible. Guys are just flying all over the place. Talk about emotion.
The 82-yard drive was accomplished largely because the 67-yard gain from Aston to Mike Freider. Alberta 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line with 1:32 to play in the 2nd quarter. Taylor looking over the middle, and the pass falls incomplete. He was looking there on his first attempt for Jason Duxbury. Duxbury and Manuel De Sousa, the receivers on Taylor's left, don't get much action.
And this is the kind of thing that Tom Wilkinson was talking about. Doesn't want to get behind, and especially this kind of way where they have to play catch-up football, because that's really not their style of play.
7 straight incompletions for Robert Taylor. And by the way, Darryl Garretts, who is the backup quarterback for this game, will start the second half for Alberta. Tom Wilkinson made that determination before the football game. On second down, Taylor under pressure, throws it back across the green to Jay Hamilton. And Hamilton gets a great block from Manuel De Sousa and gets all the way up to the 38 for a first down. Again, a case of a receiver making a great block. The gain is 16.
And you know why it was such a great block there, Gord, is because he didn't go after him. He almost just kind of walled him off. It was almost like a pick. See, fake play action pass, then coming back underneath. Now watch number 80 here. You know, he could, it's close to a clip, but he stops. He almost lets the guy pick him right there. He doesn't really move. He just kind of makes sure that when he turns, he's going to turn into him. Just enough to get Hamilton outside.
Clock running 109 again. Taylor has trouble with the snap, and this time falls on it at the 33-yard line, but it's a loss of 4 yards. And that's the third time that Taylor has had trouble with the snap. And he wants timeout.
Well, that time there, they're trying to run the inside trap, so it looks. And he didn't get the snap from center effectively from Scott Staples. And fullback ran by, and you can see with throwing the arms out, hey.
Well, it's unusual you'd see that at this point in the season. I mean, the 5th game for them, and now Taylor will go down and talk it over with some of the assistants, including Angelo Santucci on the left.
Well, you know, taking the snap from center, Gord, it seems like such an easy thing, but there are components to it. And they always talk about the 3 Ps. You know, pressure from the quarterback's got to give the pressure on the centers behind, and then he's got to push, and then he's got to pull it back into his navel afterwards. And all those 3 facets have to take place in order to have a successful exchange. If any one of them are not taken care of, that's usually what you have happen is the quarterback's bobbling the ball, or the ball is going to be on the ground.
Well, to make matters worse, Calgary was coming with a safety blitz there. Ron Lancaster told me earlier this year that when it comes to a safety blitz, it's pretty simple. Everybody on the field has a guy, and if the safety's blitzing, the quarterback has him.
That's right.
Okay, Manny, feed that.
Taylor with just 84 yards passing now, and right now his major concern is just taking the pass from center. Has a man open. The pass, though, bounces in front of Mark Tobert, who can't make the catch. And the coverage there from Chris Penner, and that's an interesting matchup. Tobert with the good speed on Penner, the big linebacker.
Let's take a look at Taylor's follow-through. He throws the ball effectively, but a little low. Even if Tobert had have caught that, there's no way that he would have gotten the first down.
And the beleaguered Scott McKenzie steps in. His 7th punt of this first half. Remember, he almost recovered his last one. Snap a bit high again. McKenzie brings it down. This one off the side of his foot. Buchanan from the 46. Picks his way across midfield, has room, and finally gets out of bounds down the 33-yard line, and a flag is down as the tackle was made late by Mark Alcaru. And I think that they'll say Buchanan was well out of bounds, and what a huge penalty this would be.
You know, at this point in the football game, that's just not using your head.
While the return puts Calgary in field goal range, and the penalty
Unnecessary
makes it even more.
roughness, late hit out of bounds, number 40, Alberta, first down.
It is Alcaru who gets the call, and here it comes.
Look at the great feat of Buchanan to get back outside, and Alcaru comes and tackles him while he's well out of bounds.
No, he's out of bounds.
Right there, he's got to let him go. He can't do that. He's got to let him go.
Good call by the officials, and it's a first down for the Dinosaurs at the 21-yard line of Alberta. 48 seconds remaining, all kinds of time. Pass to the flat, and has it complete there to Don Blair. A flag is down.
Passing pass complete to Don Blair, covered by Stephen Day. No gain on the play after the call.
And a face mask is the call against Alberta. And Stephen Day, I believe, will be called for this, and it just goes from bad to worse for Alberta.
As he was making the tackle on Don Blair.
Unnecessary roughness on the face mask, number 21, Alberta, first down.
So he gets in there and grabs the mask as he calls him down. I mean, no question about that one.
So that penalty puts Calgary in a first down situation at the Alberta 11-yard line. Calgary can get a first down without scoring. Aston under pressure, looking to the corner, but Freider again had broken it in, and that's the second time we've seen that in the last 2 series.
I think he just threw that away because Darryl Fridd was coming right into Jason Aston's face, and he gave him a good shot after he threw the ball. I think Aston's smart enough to realize right now, listen, we have first down. We're going to have another try at it. Let's not make any stupid mistakes down here.
86.
So he just threw that away.
Second and 10 from the 11. 38 seconds left here in the first half. Calgary leading at 18-3. Aston was looking to Freider, goes the other way, and Don Blair almost fought off the tackle of Yusipchuk. Has a gain of 6 down to the 5, but it'd be well short of the first down.
I'll tell you, they're trying to run a pick inside. Well, actually, not allowed to run picks in football, so
They never have.
they never do it. But that's exactly what they're doing. Paul Yusipchuk shows great speed here, picking up Blair. Coming from a safety spot, you can see he has to come all the way over, and boy, if he doesn't make this tackle, Blair goes into the end zone.
And Peter Canellan will take no chances in a pretty straight-ahead move here. Bruce Parsons will come in for what is, in effect, a convert, but it'll be his 4th field goal attempt of the football game from 12 yards out. This to give the Dinosaurs an 18-point lead. And Parsons puts that through easily. Now 4 for 4 on field goals for the day, and the Dinosaurs take a 21-3 lead with 11 seconds to play in the first half. And Parsons, who entered this game as the leading scorer in Canada West, has a pretty good shot at being our player of the game here today. And you see Freider coming off the field, and boy, they love to go to him. In fact, every time Aston comes back to pass, you can see him looking for Freider.
And one of the nice things, when you have a good field goal kicker, does it ever take a lot of pressure off your offense? Because you know that once you get across center field, you've got a chance for 3 points every time.
So in 11 seconds, Alberta takes over first and 10 at the 35. And we have a new quarterback in the football game for Alberta. Daryl Garrett comes in at quarterback for Alberta. And on his first play from scrimmage, he simply hands it off. Garrett has not seen much action for the Golden Bears. 4 of 10 passing for 36 yards. But you can see he brings size to the equation. And that's one thing you always love at this level.
Yeah, he's a big quarterback, so he gets to see over those offensive linemen and defensive linemen.
Garrett makes the handoff, and looking over there, he finds John Price, but the pass brought Price out of bounds, and the first half comes to an end, and the Calgary Dinosaurs, befitting their first place status in Canada West, lead Alberta 21-3 after the first half. Our halftime activities are coming up in just a moment, and we'll have scores and highlights from our TSN Control Center with much, much more. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. (21-3) after 30 minutes of play. Jason Aston, 9 of 19 in that first half for 147 yards. Over a third of them come on a pass completion to Mike Freider. And not often you see an undefeated team switch quarterbacks. We asked Peter Canellan about switching Jason Aston for John Kalin.
Well, we made the change basically to give us a little bit more flexibility at linebacker, and so we had to move our safety up to linebacker, where he played last year as Roger Reinson. And at the same time, we've got 2, I think, outstanding quarterbacks, and I don't think it makes sense to have one of them sitting on the bench. And John's an outstanding athlete. He's played defensive back before, and he has the capability, both physically and mentally, to play both sides of the ball. And if we can do that, then we're utilizing our personnel to the greatest extent, and that's what we want to try and do.
For Robert Taylor, 6 of 15 in the first half, 84 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Taylor, though, got ice cold in the second quarter when he threw 7 straight incompletions. He was actually fairly effective in the first quarter, Jamie.
Yeah, he was effective in the first quarter. You know, UFC were coming with a lot of man coverage. They were trying to get after him, and he was picking out the right receiver through his hot reads. In the second quarter, they started to get behind a little bit. They started to have to rely on the pass a little bit more. They didn't have very good field position. And Robert Taylor was put in that unenviable position of trying to play comeback football.
And Taylor will go to the sidelines for the opening of the second half. Darryl Garretts will take the snaps. He came in late in that second quarter for Alberta. Tom Wilkinson told us before the game that that was part of his pregame plan, and Wilkinson believes very strongly in a 2-quarterback system. You know what's ironic to me, Jamie, is that if you look at the 2 football coaches at Edmonton, Ron Lancaster with the Edmonton Eskimos and Tom Wilkinson with the Alberta Golden Bears, both during their playing days loved being number 1 and always insisted that they be number 1, and yet both are now strong proponents as coaches of a 2-quarterback system. And you wonder how they would react as players. Ron Lancaster told us earlier this year that if they had told him he'd share quarterbacking duties, he'd have demanded a trade.
Yeah, it's funny what it's like when you're on the other side and you are a coach. And we take a look at some of the play selection, rushing and passing for Alberta, almost even. Calgary a little bit more of the pass, but relatively even for both of these football teams. You know, this has to be a real tough situation, I think, for Darryl Garretts to come into. I mean, first of all, sure, he's a quarterback, he wants to play, but boy, I tell you what, it's almost like throwing meat to the wolves out here with the Calgary defense, the way they've been playing in the first half. But it's a very emotional football game. Darryl Garretts, I'm sure, would be a bit nervous coming in the second half. I'm sure that's why Tom Wilkinson stuck him in for at least 1 or 2 plays before the end of the first half. So at least he gets those butterflies out of the way. He's been on the field. He knows what to expect a little bit from that Calgary rush.
If you look to the north end here at McMahon Stadium, you see the bleachers being put up for the 1993 Grey Cup game, which will be played here in late November. And I think it's a great story the way the Calgary Dinosaurs and the Calgary Stampeders get along. The Stampeders gave their season ticket holders tickets to this football game. The Stampeders are a corporate sponsor of the Calgary Dinosaurs. The Stamps pay rent to the Dinosaurs for the use of this facility. And it's a great story of 2 organizations getting along. And we saw before this football game some of the Stampeder training and equipment staff helping out the Dinosaurs before this football game. And it's a great story of cooperation, and one that's echoed in Edmonton between the Eskimos and the Golden Bears. And if for no other reason than Tom Wilkinson's coaching staff is comprised mainly of ex-Eskimos.
Well, that's one of the things that I think you really notice out here in the West, in particular Calgary, Edmonton, is really the community, the sense of community that they have out here. I mean, everybody feels that, hey, listen, we're all in this thing together. Let's help each other. And as you mentioned, Tom Wilkinson has a lot of his coaching staff former Eskimos. We mentioned Angelo Santucci, Marco Sincar, Mario Prieto.
Ranked number 1 in Canada.
I mean, it's a great relationship, but it's one that's really benefited the pro team, because if you look over the years, both the Alberta Golden Bears and Calgary Dinosaurs, or Calgary Stampeders rather, have been successful with players from the university in their city. And there's a ton of Calgary Stampeders that played for the Dinosaurs over the years, and the same is true of the Alberta Golden Bears. So it's not just goodwill being exhibited by the pro teams, it's good business.
Sure it is.
Alberta will receive to open the second half as Bruce Parsons will kick off. Parsons was 4 for 4 in the field goal department in the first half. John Kalin with a 1-yard touchdown run and a safety on a high snap on a punt accounted for the other Calgary points. John Cutler kicked an early 38-yard field goal for Alberta, the only points put on the board by the Golden Bears. Set to get underway for the second half. And here's Mark Tobert from the 5-yard line. Tobert breaks 1 tackle, heading outside. And finally forced down at the 36-yard line as the tackle is made on the play by Chris Lewis.
And you know, Mark Tobert is a player who Tom Wilkinson has to be concerned about getting the ball to him, because he is a game breaker, this guy. This is a great punt return. Look, he just gets the ball, goes right up the field. He just sees the opening, bang. Now it's a foot race outside. He has very good vision. They have to get the football to him in a lot of ways, because he is a game breaker for you. He can get you a lot of yardage.
A 60-yard kickoff, a 31-yard return by Tobert. Alberta 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. And as we mentioned, Daryl Garrett takes to Hamilton. To the flat, and the pass is out of the reach of Michael Weiss.
You know, they run play action to that side. That freezes the outside linebacker, Chris Penner. And they put Michael Weiss out into the flat because Penner's now playing the run. Let's take a look at play action here. They have Hamilton. Now Penner's stuck inside, and they can get the ball here. I mean, there was a lot of room for Weiss to turn up the field.
One question I would have, though, and you talk about teams being right-handed or left-handed. This is clearly a right-handed football team. Manny D'Souza and Jason Duxbury, the receivers who generally line up on the left of the formation, have been almost invisible today.
No, that's right. You know, they're not a team that likes to throw left at all. They're right-handed.
And Garrett goes to the right to Sidney Leong. That play is broken up neatly by the corner, Colin Newman. And Newman timed it perfectly and took the ball away from his opposite number, Sidney Leong.
Good coverage by Colin Newman. His 2 interceptions this season. You see, he plays aggressive to the football. That's a great defensive play. You know, when the ball's in the air, it's anybody's ball, and he went after it like it was his.
And Scott McKenzie again back to punt for Alberta. This guy may wear out. Well, if Scott McKenzie was hoping to showcase his talents on national television, he certainly had ample opportunity today. Here's Freider from the 26. Flags are down, and Freider is down at about the 38-yard line.
I think they're going to call James Buchanan for blocking from behind.
Tackled by Sean Stewart, number 55, flag ankle.
It is a clip. And this will push the Dinosaurs back somewhat as John Nickel and his officiating staff take a look at it.
The bottom of your screen, you can see it right there, the push. Actually, I will.
Flip on the run back, number 39, Calgary, 1st down.
I'll clear that up. That was not James Buchanan. I don't want to give him any credit where credit is not due. He does not want to be known as the guy that clipped. It was number 39.
Gene Stahl is called for clipping, and it pushes the Dinosaurs back to the 19-yard line. Opening possession of the second half for the Dinosaurs. Here comes Sean Ladder. And Ladder gets about 7 yards.
I've really been impressed by Sean Ladder, the way that he goes to the point of attack. You know, they really start out and he looks and he makes sure that there's over pursuing. He cuts it back inside. 5'8", 200 pounds in his second year at a Forest Lawn High School in Calgary.
This time Ladder can't get far as he's tripped up immediately in the backfield. Nice defensive play made there by Steve Dallison.
And you know, that was a change in their defense. They went to a 44 stack look. You can see the stack. Now once people come inside here, bang, right there. He was not taken by anybody. That confused the offensive lineman up front.
Daryl Britt jumping in to get the early pressure.
That's right. All they've been seeing so far is just that 30 defense where they have a nose tackle and then the 2 defensive tackles, 2 inside linebackers. So Alberta's starting to change things up on defense.
And Calgary's gambling on 3rd and a really long yard. And Assen stays in on this 3rd and 1 situation and gets the first down.
Ooh. Peter Cannellan is gambling here early. Jason Assen just trying to go again over the block of Ron Meyer.
A little to gain, but boy, a lot to lose for the Dinosaurs in that gamble. But the big men up front got the job done, and it's a first down for the Dinosaurs at the Calgary 31-yard line. Flag is down. Aston is scrambling, and he cannot get away from the pursuit. And dragging him down on the play was Sean Irwin. And holding will be the call against the Calgary Dinosaurs. Just an injury update. We mentioned earlier that Craig Furlong was nailed earlier in the game. He has not returned for the Calgary Dinosaurs, nor has linebacker Peter White, who went to the
Holding.
hospital for x-rays
Calgary number 61, first down repeated.
on a suspected fractured ankle. So the holding call goes against Harold Anderson and pushes the Dinosaurs back to the 21-yard line. Carry goes to David Evans, and Evans gets most of the yardage back on the penalty as he fights his way up to the 32 for a gain of 11 yards.
That's a real nice job. They took the offensive guard, the right offensive guard, and they folded him around the nose tackle, and they gave the ball to David Evans. You can see number 46, Brian Welpley, gets a good block on number 58, Joe Kusi.
You know, it's interesting what Evans, they don't use him much as a running back, but he averages about 6 yards a carry. So he's effective in relatively limited action. Over the middle, has the man open, and did he make the catch? Did Ryan Williams make the catch? How good is that?
Great concentration by Ryan Williams. I mean, the coaches are probably going to tell him, Ryan, you should have had that on the first bounce, not the third. Good strike by Jason Assen as he's trying to catch it and cradle it into his body. 1, 2, jump ball, 3. Boy, what a great catch.
A gain of 14 yards, and Ryan Williams and Mike Strider both beneficiaries of great bounces. This time Sean Latter is bounced immediately as Joe Kusi was in the backfield. It's a loss of 2.
Well, you never know. He might have to resurrect the Bone Awards for that one.
That was unbelievable. It's an unusual strategy in tight coverage to tip the ball up to yourself.
Sure is. Something you see in touch football.
How do you draw that in the playbook?
Tell him 3 bounces, not 4, not 2,
Yeah.
3 bounces.
Bounce off your pads, off the building, off the turf. Nothing but hands. On 2nd and 12, Assen gets nailed, and this pass is almost picked off by Paul Yasipchak, but the referee rules no catch.
I tell you, that was a heck of a hit that Jason Assen took by Sean Cotry. Cotry, again, one of those inside defensive backs who lines up, comes on the blitz, and you see, Assen can't see him on his backside. He sees him at the last moment because he's throwing left. Oof. Pick a rib time.
Yeah, pick a rib. There's, I think, 13 to choose from. So it'll be Parsons to punt with 10 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. Tobert from the 38 reverses his field, looks for a block. Look out, he gets hit pretty hard. He's brought down to the 45-yard line. A 28-yard punt, a return of 6, and Alberta will try to get it going when we come back. Robert Taylor remains on the bench for Alberta as Darryl Garretts takes the snaps here early in this second half, and Taylor struggled in the 2nd quarter, and I think he's itching to get a chance to get it back. And 6 for 15, but 7 straight incompletions in the 2nd quarter.
And I think that's so tough when you're pulled out like that. You know, as a quarterback, you still have to be in the game. You can't just go over there and sit in the bench. He's got to watch and see what's going on in case something does happen and they decide to put him back in, that he is attuned to what's happening out there.
1st and 10, Alberta from the 46. They give it to the lead back, John Price, and Price pulls his way ahead for about 6 yards.
That play was designed to go inside. That's the inside trap, but he didn't see it there, so he just tries to take it right down the line. Let's take a look at the trap. They pull the guard, bang. Now, there is a hole in there, but he decides, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to try and take it around the end. And, boy, he just lowers his head and pops Dan Jeremiah, number 12 for the Calgary Dinosaurs.
Well, the Stamps are practicing right now. It's an understandable mistake. Maybe Alberta could see if Doug Flutie's got any college eligibility left. Here goes to Jay Hamilton, and he is stopped in his tracks. Nice play by the nose man, Trent Schmulin. This guy is a one-man gang for Calgary. 3 fumble recoveries and 4 sacks already this year for the Dinosaurs.
Well, he's so strong. You know, he benches 415 pounds. You know, they should be fairly solid there, and they want to try and kick out with Don Murphy, the counter, but Schmulin just muscles his way in there. Look at the arms on him. That's a strong guy.
4th-year player from Coaldale, Alberta. Deep in the heart of basketball country. Oh, McKenzie booms another one. This one all the way down to the 1-yard line. And Buchanan watches it roll around. That almost came back out to the 1.
Almost came out to the 1.
Who makes that football? Titleist? A 61-yard punt by McKenzie. And Brian Dickinson, a veteran coach of the Edmonton area, who's coached high school, junior, university, and pro football in that area.
This is a great booming kick. It had great height. The ball turned over, had the spiral. But check this bounce out. Just goes over the pylon. Oof.
But it's a long, loud single for Alberta. 21-4 now, the Golden Bears trail. Here comes Ladder. Ladder breaks the initial tackles and gets up to the 40 for a gain of 5. Tackle on the play is made there by linebacker Marquand Alcaroux. Just a gorgeous day in Calgary. I was mentioning earlier that I was in Regina last night for a football game between the BC Lions and Saskatchewan Roughriders. It was 2 degrees below and blowing like crazy, and here we are. Feels like summer in Calgary. A little Chinook blowing through. And the latter is having a better day. That pass kind of a dying quail, but it's grabbed by James Buchanan. The tackle is made by Mike Hogan up on the coverage.
And again, Alberta is starting to gamble quite a bit. They're starting to bring their defensive backs in the blitz, and Jason Aston showing a lot of courage by standing in there. Watch this hit again by Contreras right in on him, number 11. But James Buchanan goes up, protects the ball, make sure it's his body's between the ball and the defensive back.
Must be the shoes. Of course, this game in aid of Shriners hospitals throughout Alberta, and a number of the Shriners in attendance, and this annual charity event has become a staple of the Alberta sports calendar. Here's Aston. On first down, wide open over the middle is Don Blair. Blair is off and running. Touchdown, Calgary. A 63-yard pass and run touchdown. Blair hauls in the pass wide open.
Okay, here we go. Here he is right here, Don Blair. Are they going to come out, play action this side, and then they're going to bootleg it back around. And watch Blair. He's going to sneak in through here and then come across the middle. Okay, roll it. It's like play action to the right. Now he just sneaks through, and they let him go because they think it's run. And then Jason Aston delivers a strike. No one's there in the middle. And now it's a foot race.
And Don Blair wins that foot race hands down. Bruce Parsons adds the convert as 28-4. Calgary leading Alberta. Well, big plays have really been the difference. I mean, they always say that a football game comes down to a half dozen key plays, and every one of them has gone Calgary's way in this football game.
Yeah, it really has, you know, and I give credit to Jason Aston, the quarterback for Calgary, because, you know, he's taken a lot of great hits this afternoon, and he's managed to stand in there, and it takes a lot of courage to do that and then deliver the ball right over the middle, because he was looking outside initially to James Buchanan. But there was pretty good coverage outside by Mike Hogan, and then he hits Don Blair coming across the middle.
Dinosaur season ticket packages are still available.
Wow, this large crowd here at McMahon Stadium thoroughly enjoying what it's seeing so far. Why not? These are pretty high times in the Calgary sports scene. The Stampeders have lost only one game all season. The Grey Cup will be here. The Flames begin their season next week, and there are high expectations in Calgary. Dinosaur football team is playing well, and there are always strong teams here at the University of Calgary.
And I think Bruce Parsons grasp on player of the game might be slipping away.
It is slipping a little bit. When it was 9-3, he was looking pretty good.
It was. There's Tom Wilkinson talking to his quarterback, Daryl Garretts.
Maybe follow off from an older on second down. And we're getting probably cover 2.
Wilkie's team down by 24 points. And the man who used to specialize in coming back from deficits like that will be hard-pressed to see it today. Senny Leon from his own 2-yard line. Gets the block, gets outside. Parsons, the kicker, pushes him out of bounds at the 36-yard line. And Jamie, another look at the touchdown to Don Blair.
I didn't even see it.
It's a nice job. Blair coming across the middle, and you can see that Stephen Day, number 21, the defensive back, was uptight because he was looking for the play action. He was looking for the running back, and that enabled Blair to get open. Jason Aston delivers a great strike.
Their touchdown drives are not long. One was 28 seconds. This one's a minute and 20. But big plays have been a key factor in both. Daryl Garretts remains in at quarterback with under 7 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Garretts to Senny Leong, and Colin Newman almost took that the other way. And Mark Tobert was wide open.
Good numbers for Jason Aston, 12 of 23. One touchdown. One of the key things for Aston this year, no interceptions this year at all. Daryl Garrett's throwing outside coverages extremely well by Colin Newman over Semi Leong.
We mentioned that this is largely a right-handed Alberta offense. The 2 receivers on the left, Manny DeSouza and Jason Duxbury, no catches, no yards. And they go back to the right again. This time they swing it up to John Price. Price got away from the first tackle, but look at the gang that dragged him down after that. Chris Zaharko, the linebacker, led the gang tackle by the Calgary Dinosaurs. It was a sea of red.
You know, I'm a bit surprised that the Alberta offense does not have anything like spread or shotgun into their repertoire. I haven't seen it. And, you know, you're down by 24 points. There's only 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and you're going to have to throw the ball. Everybody knows you have to throw the ball. Sometimes it's a bit easier to get your quarterback there, take the ball 5 yards deep, drop back 2 yards, and give yourself some time to pick out the receivers and throw. Getting yourself away from that rush.
The Scott McKenzie show continues. The high driving punt taken by Buchanan at the 33. Buchanan has a seam and gets about 10 up to the 43-yard line. A kick of 42, a return of 10. Stay tuned at the conclusion of today's game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass. Guaranteed the pick of the crop from coast to coast. Ward Miller along with Jamie Bone. Glad you're along with us for our season kickoff and our 10th season of CIAU football here on TSN. And the road to the Vanier Cup will wind its way to Skydome in Toronto on November 20th with a lot of interesting stops in between. And we've seen by the results earlier this season and some of the scores earlier today that it's a fascinating season of CIAU football, and there seems to be a changing of the guard in many of the conferences in this league.
Yeah, I know you're going to bring that up when you're talking about Western York, right?
Did I say that? Did I mention that Western was losing to York at the half?
Actually, York have a good football team this year. You know, they just have to learn how to win, and maybe today they will learn how to win. And that would be a big boost for their program if they could beat Western. They were leading at half.
I have the highest level of respect for the Western Ontario Mustangs and an outstanding football program that's really improved in the last few years. Sean Ladder, the ball carrier. And Ladder just content to grind it out. And a gain of 5 there. And once again, the big men up front doing the job. And uh-oh, here they come back. Western leading York now 24-15 in the third quarter. And Jamie kind of called that, said Western would come out smoldering after, I'm sure, a vigorous halftime speech. We'll see York in a couple weeks in the Blue-Red game against the University of Toronto. Yusipchuk, interception. Kreider was the intended receiver, and Yusipchuk dives in to make the catch.
And that's the first interception interception that Jason Asset has thrown this season, and I was just making a comment on it about the last series that he hadn't thrown any. See, this ball is tipped.
It was.
Tipped ball, and Yusupchuk right there on the spot to make the interception. That is his 5th of the season.
Well, that's the break the Golden Bears have been waiting for. We'll see what they do with it.
Darryl Fridd gets his hands up, number 57. Defensive tackle, and makes the... Let's Paul Yusupchuk make the interception.
1st and 10 from the 54. 4:46 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Garrett's out to the flat. Completes it there to Price. And John Price fights his way close to a first down, and out the pushing and shoving after the whistle as the Golden Bears felt that Price might have been hit a little late. First completion of the game for Darryl Garrett. Goes for about 9 yards. It'll be 2nd and 1.
Price trying to put a move on, and I think we'll give him 2 points for the takedown.
Now you got to tie 3 legs there, and once your hands are free, that's when the clock stops. Then you go back to your horse and ride off.
Yeah.
8 of 9, 2nd and 1 to the 52-yard line. Straight ahead goes Michael Weiss, and we should have the first down. First down of the 2nd half for the Alberta Golden Bears.
You know, we were doing this game last year at halftime. The score was 17-16, and I believe it was for Alberta. And then Calgary really poured it on and took the lead. The score was 36 points, and it looked like the game was over, but Alberta in the last 5 minutes of that game came back and scored a number of touchdowns and made it close. The final score was 36-31 for Calgary.
Sean Irwin shaken up earlier. We are told will return, and it's all right. 1st and 10 from the 44. Give to the lead back, John Price, and Price is dragged down there by Dan Jeremiah. Jeremiah, a member of, I guess you'd be Calgary's football royal family. And we check some more out-of-town scores. Concordia defeats Queens by a final of 19-16. Brad Elberg, the outstanding player in last year's Vanier Cup for the Golden Gales, injured in the first half of that game. And Concordia blocked a field goal at the buzzer that would have tied the football game. Concordia is always in close games. They could play the Chicago Bears. Michael Weiss pulls his way ahead, and he should be just short of the first down. Gain of 3, and it'll be 3rd and 2 for Alberta. What do you do here, Coach?
Oh, you've got to go for it here right now. And, you know, one of the things that when Robert Taylor was in there, that a couple of things that they have done in the past is run a little bit of option, but it's now Darryl Garrett's.
Timeout. And Alberta will call a timeout to talk it over. And we'll take a break. We'll return to our coverage of the 1993 North-South Shrine Bowl in a moment. So on 3rd and 2, Alberta is going gambling. 3 backs in the backfield. And now Price goes in motion. Option. And Garrett should have it as he gets across to about the 32-yard line.
I'll tell you, it was option, but Garrett's only had one option, and that was carrying the ball the whole way. He wasn't doing anything but taking it himself.
That's a tough call on the short yardage, the option play.
You can see, but everybody is all in between the ends, and what they try to do is to get it outside. But I think this isn't even option. I think this is run all the way. They're just trying to say, hey, Garrett, just get it outside and get around the corner. We'll put the backs in front of you, and we'll just try and fall for those 2 yards.
Picked up 5 to give Alberta a first down at the 32-yard line. The clock running at 2:25 and counting in the 3rd quarter.
It's an over.
Garrett's the flat, and it is picked off. Intercepted by Dan Jeremiah, who almost caught that out of self-defense.
Again, Gord, you've alluded to it all game. They are a right-handed football team. Everybody starts to flow to the right, and that is not a very good decision by Darryl Garrett, as he throws it right into the arms of Dan Jeremiah. Defensive back doesn't really get anything behind that football, and allows Jeremiah to step in front of it and take the rebound off his chest and make the interception.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Dinosaurs from their own 26. And Alberta is unable to take advantage advantage of the turnover. It's the out and up. And Buchanan is open, but the pass is overthrown. A great pump move, and Buchanan was wide open as Dan Jeremiah celebrates. We mentioned a moment ago the royal family of Calgary football. Elio Jeremiah.
Mas Jeremiah. Elio Jeremiah. Bruno Jeremiah. Elio is actually the second all-time leading rusher in the CIAU, and he played tailback here for the Dinosaurs.
Now, I know Elio's in the Calgary Dinosaur Sports Hall of Fame, but maybe Mr. and Mrs. Jeremiah deserve a spot in there as well.
Legal forward pass interference, number 24, Alberta, first down.
And the call goes against Mike Hogan on pass interference on James Buchanan. So even though Buchanan was open, Hogan interfered with him. Gives Calgary a 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. And Ladder fights his way ahead for about 3 yards to the 44. Mention, and not to belabor the point about Alberta being a right-handed football team, but it's unusual to see that. How tempting is it for a quarterback, because it's more comfortable, to consistently throw to the right?
Well, actually, I think a lot of quarterbacks like to do that. That's why if you're coaching and you coach the quarterbacks, you get them to throw left all the time, because if you can throw left and you're a right-handed quarterback, you can throw comfortably anywhere in the field and you don't become right-handed. Now, you notice that when Alberta were on offense, they're challenging. Rob Schrath is coming right up into Sousa, and he's challenging him. I dare you to throw the ball to him.
Here's Asson looking for help. Kalen working his way back, and this pass is picked off by Ian Hiltz. Hyder was working his way back to the quarterback, but Hiltz was too, and he got there first.
Ian Hiltz. Golden Bear football.
See, not a good decision. He was trying to hit James Buchanan coming across. He obviously didn't see Ian Hiltz. Ian Hiltz was backing off because he realized that Asson had not crossed the line of scrimmage and he could throw the football. Those are the kind when you're a quarterback, you just say, oh gosh, I wish I could have that back, because you know that as soon as he released that, I think he started to realize, uh-oh, that ball's going to be picked off.
Do quarterbacks still say, oh gosh?
Always.
All you clean cuts, blue-eyed.
Always.
Right at midfield, Alberta gets the ball back with 36 seconds to play. Alberta trying the out and up. Sidney Leong is the receiver, but Colin Newman is right with him. And again, Newman in better position to make the catch. He wasn't biting on that for a second.
Good job, Daryl.
And you know, Gordon, when you talk about right-handed teams, normally defenses will put their best defensive backs on the right as well, because they figure that you're right-handed, you throw that way. And that's how they feel about Colin Newman. You know, they haven't really challenged Rob Schrath at all this afternoon, the corner on the other side. He's really the forgotten man in that defense. I'm sure he likes it that way, but Manny D'Souza's not getting any balls thrown his way. Either is Jason Duxbury.
Well, he brought the football down, and they rule Garrett's in the grass. And he wants a late hit call, but I don't think he'll get it.
Come on now.
Garrett's brought the ball down, and the Dinosaurs in turn brought him down.
Tackled by Craig Simpson, number 63. Third down, Golden Bear.
Craig Simpson looks like he has the arms wrapped around Darryl Garrett's and stops any forward progress. The official blows the whistle.
He's the Craig Simpson who hits people. Well, the other one moved to Buffalo, so he's probably not watching today. So Scott McKenzie back to punt for the 11th time today. Oh, it'll be hard to put together his highlight reel anyway when he's looking around for pro teams. Oh, this was partially blocked. Gets a good bounce down to the 38, now still loose. And finally the Dinosaurs fall on it, and there's a flag down.
McKenzie, punt, travels 23 yards.
This will likely be no yards, but we'll let them sort it out, and we'll tell you what happens when we return to McMahon Stadium as the third quarter has come to an end. We're back in Calgary, and some intriguing developments here. They switched ends, and then they unswitched ends, and Calgary ran an offensive play, and Alberta got the ball back. And here's what happened on what ended up being the final play of the third quarter.
Jason Assen looking downfield, and Paul Yusupchuk comes up aggressively to the football and picks off his second of the afternoon and returns it back for the Alberta Golden Bears. Kind of guy you want to have playing safety for you. Big guy, 6'3", 200 pounds.
Prototypical pro safety. Big, rangy, likes to hit people.
He has 2 sacks this year as well, so they like to bring him on the blitz every now and then.
Don Blair has a 63-yard touchdown in this game. Was shaken up, but he springs back to his feet and should be all right. So Tom Wilkinson's team has generated turnovers here in the second half, but thus far has been unable to take advantage. And this time they switch ends for good. And to open the fourth quarter, Alberta will have the ball at the Calgary 48-yard line.
You receive a TSF t-shirt, great discounts at local businesses, the chance to win prizes at dinosaur events while being a Dino supporter. Check it out at the Dino booth in Mac Hall.
And the numbers after 3 quarters, and they were pretty close after 1, but since then, Calgary started to run away with it. 231 yards passing for Jason Assen, 334 net yards. And it's the same story for the Alberta Golden Bears. And not to harp on the point, but for the last 8 or 9 years, they just haven't been able to generate great offense.
No, and here's another deceiving stat here, the turnovers right now. Those 3 turnovers have taken place as the Dinosaurs have a 24-point lead. So they did not happen earlier in the football game. But I've been very impressed by Jason Assen's ability to throw the football, but I'm sure that he has to be a big concern of Peter Cannellan right now, that they have this big lead and they do not want to allow any plays to get Alberta back into this football game. They cannot be throwing interceptions.
So Calgary opens the fourth quarter with a 28-4 lead. Jason Assen's last 4 passes, he has a touchdown and 3 interceptions. Like a little girl with the curl. When he's good, he's great. But when he's bad. On 1st and 10 from the 48, Garrett's on play action.
Do you believe it? They threw left.
I can't believe it. But it was to Tolbert, who lines up on the right-hand side of the formation. He came all the way across.
Again, they go with that formation. They fake trap inside. They fake sweep. They get out here and they bootleg it. They pull that backside guard. And then they find Tolbert just coming across the formation. They put it out to him. But they've got to start to attack the left side. They haven't been tested all day long.
It's a pickup of 12, and it's a first down for Alberta at the Calgary 36-yard line. Going left again. This time it's a double play ball to Jay Hamilton. A one-hopper that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And, you know, that's a case scored right there where the quarterback, who's a right-handed quarterback, does not get his non-throwing shoulder downfield enough. So he's already open. And by that they mean open, that his shoulders, his hips are exposed to the receiver. And so when he tries to throw the football, he really can't get anything on the football. And it goes into the dirt.
Well,
excuse me, the turd.
You used to have dirt here. You used to have the best grass in the league here. Again, he's rolling left. Thrown over the middle, and is it an interception? Rob Schroff has it. And they're going to rule that a catch and a return of the interception to the 23-yard line. Oh, great catch by Rob Schroff. So Alberta again unable to take advantage of the turnover.
Again here, Senny Leon was, or excuse me, DeSalza was open outside.
No catch. That should not have been a catch. That ball hit the ground.
And then Garrett throws it back inside. I mean, if he had a hit Souza, he had a touchdown. But I'm not sure who he was throwing to, unless he was throwing to the receiver coming across underneath, and he just overthrew him.
I think it was Senny Leon who is the injured player. Leon remaining on the turf.
Wow.
Senny Leon is a little guy who takes a lot of big hits. And they're checking his right ankle. .57, 155. Remember the Smurf offense that Alberta had last year. 3 of the 4 receivers were under 5'10". And we'll see what happened to him. He's number 7 at the bottom of your screen. And
You know,
continue to check the ankle. Sorry,
excuse me, Gord. Senny Leong, as well as one of the veterans in this team, also in his 5th year. They have a number of them that they will lose next year. Senny Leong being one of them. Mark Tobert's in his 5th year. Marcel Winnichuk, offensive guard. Robert Taylor in his 5th year. And Jason Duxbury. They have a lot of people that need to be replaced in this offense.
Well, I mean, they say that Canadian football at the university or pro level is a quarterback's game. I mean, the CFL is clearly a quarterback's league. And at this level, the teams that can consistently find good quarterbacks consistently win.
You'll always be in the game and in the hunt if you've got a good quarterback.
And off to the lead back, I think that's David Evans breaking through. And Evans has a gain of, we'll call it 3.
Kind of a strange number for a running back if you take a look at David Evans' number 88.
Maybe Lynn Swan was his hero.
Or I said, was it in tribute to the 88 Olympics that were held here?
Maybe he likes Eric Lindros. There's a myriad of possibilities. Maybe it was the only number they had.
That might have been it.
This time it's Ladder, and he's brought down by a gang of Golden Bears at about the 26. Players are always concerned, especially if they're linemen. If you show up for training camp and they give you number 4 or something, they always think that you don't have long-term plans.
Yeah, or a chair instead of a locker. There
Yeah.
should be a chair with your name on it, a piece of tape on it. That's right.
Ladder is stopped short of the first down, brings up a kicking situation on 3rd and 6 from about the 28-yard line. 12:57 to play here in the 4th quarter. Calgary leading 28-4. And it'll take a big return or something to get Alberta going. 11 men up at the line of scrimmage. Low driving kick. Tobert from midfield. Check that, Mike Hogan from midfield, and he's brought down inside Calgary territory at the 53-yard line. And Hogan comes up limping.
Hogan was tackled on the play by number 57, Dan Kerbavin.
And now Kirby Short, the 3rd-string quarterback, comes in, a first-year player for the Golden Bears. Short, I don't believe, has seen any action for the Bears this year. And the Bears start 1st and 10 from the 52-yard line. Short has not played this season. And he's nailed. And his first pass of the season is picked off by Rob Richards. So Kirby Short's first pass as a university quarterback is intercepted. Welcome to the Canada West.
Yeah, I'm sure he wanted it to be a memorable first pass, but that's not the kind of memory he wants to have. Watch him get rocked right here. Boom. Trent Schmulin. And then Rob Richards right there to intercept it. Did a pretty good job of holding on to the ball. Normally the ball doesn't come to you when you're a defensive lineman, but look at this. Oh. I think he might have just been trying to protect himself as well. I mean, the ball hit him right in the belt.
Unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 35 after the interception. First down.
And the call going against Greg Heiss, defensive back for the Dinosaurs, pushing them back to the 43-yard line. Well, look at it this way for Kirby Short. No matter what happens in the rest of his career, it can only get better.
It's a positive way of looking at it, Gord.
I always try to be positive, Jamie. Jason Aston to the flat. Wide open is Ryan Williams, who tiptoes up the sidelines, but tiptoes out of bounds at the 46.
Ryan Williams, another one of those Notre Dame football players, came over here to the Calgary Dinosaurs when Ron Meyer came here 4 years ago. Nice pass by Aston. Nice up the field.
And a 22-yard gain for a Hound of Notre Dame. Best known for turning out hockey players like Wendell Clark, Russ Courtnall, Gary Lehman. First and 10 from the 45. And this one is going nowhere, as Ladder is brought down immediately in the backfield by Paul Yosipchuk. Let's keep you up to date with some out-of-town scores. This final in St. Mary's beats St. FX 42-3. So St. Mary's may move up in the ranking, and the dream dies hard for York. 34 and counting, and Western wins it by a score of 42-14. Check that, that's still the fourth quarter, so we can't write York off just yet. Aston, under pressure, throws it away and gets nailed. Jumping into his face was linebacker Dave Noonan.
Well, Dave Noonan gets there in a hurry. Jason Aston dropping back. You know, this is a point where you have to protect the quarterback's backside. That's why when you put together an offensive line, normally you put your best offensive tackle on your left side because it's the quarterback's blind side. They have to make sure that if Jason Aston's dropping back, they have to take it back either Evans or Ladder, and they have to make sure that they catch this guy. They have to take care of the backside before the front side because the quarterback can see the defender coming. He can get rid of it or take evasive action.
Or throw it out of bounds. Bruce Parsons. Tomer to the 10. Tomer still going and fights his way up to the 18-yard line. And we'll be back with more. You're watching the CIAU on TSN.
This is TSN's ultimate game plan for a full evening of sports action. Here's what you gotta do. Tune in for theme nights. The first big play is pub night. Snooker and darts from clubs around the world. Then it's ringside for the main event with Top Rank and kickboxing. Plus Super Bowls from the past and present. And to get you moving, Rolling Thunder, the high-speed thrill of auto and drag racing. The ultimate game plan will give you the best ways to play. You handle the excitement of real TV. TSN.
Calgary Dinosaurs slipped to third in the rankings after tying Saskatchewan last week. The first tie in Calgary school history.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, the kind of program they've had here since 1968, and you would think that in one of those years that they would tie somebody, but...
And they don't play overtime in Canada West either, which makes it even more unusual. Short hands off this time.
I don't know if you can hear it, Gore, but I can hear it all the way up here. All those Calgary Dinosaurs yelling, trap, trap. They all knew what it was, and they just collapsed on it inside. And, you know, I think Calgary would be very happy for University of Alberta just to run the ball.
Yeah.
It just keeps eating time off of the clock.
Loss of a yard for Jay Hamilton. 2nd and 11. 10 minutes now left in the fourth quarter. His second pass goes incomplete.
Now, I'm a bit puzzled here why you'd even run any kind of play-action pass, unless you're just right now that Tom Wilkinson has said, hey, we're losing this football game. We're not going to win it. I've conceded it, but I want to give my quarterback some experience. Because play-action pass and second down when you need 10 yards to go and you're down by 24 points just isn't going to get it done. So, and I notice they have some other players in there as well now. Robin Mead, in a running back, number 6. Scott McKenzie back to punt once again.
Scott McKenzie's 12th punt of the game, and he's approaching a CIAU record. Tim Wardrop and Al Chorney share the CIAU mark for most punts in a game with 15. They both did it in 1978.
It's not a great record to have.
Not usually an indication of great success by your football team. So the 5-yard penalty.
Calgary defensive line, 3rd down repeated.
Brings up 3rd and 6. So McKenzie will do it again, and a high booming kick. Freiter with a flag down gets to the 45.
55-yard punt by Sean McKenzie. 25 yards return on the punt by Mike White. Tackled on the play by Martin Alvarez. First down, Dinosaurs.
And an illegal block is the call against the Dinosaurs, who have been penalized a lot today. Okay, updating some scores now from Canada West. This is a key game. Rod Lancaster Jr.'s Manitoba Bisons beating Saskatchewan 43-22. Dominic Segeri, 3 touchdowns in that game. Check that, 4 touchdowns in that game. And Manitoba battling back now in the standings. And an OUAA final, Waterloo beats McMaster by a count of 15-7. Well, leading Windsor 51-10. That game in the 4th quarter as well. And Aston dropped hard once again as he was looking over there for Don Blair. And you'd have to be concerned if Aston were to get hurt.
I think right now, yeah, things aren't really going very well. Again, he doesn't get the snap from center very well. Spins out, but he sees Sean Cotry right there, and he decides he's going to get rid of the ball. I'm not sure if that's well advised for him to do those kind of things, throwing the ball blindly like that, but the quarterback they would put in, I assume, would be John Kalin, but he's playing in the defensive secondary right now, and I'm sure that they feel that Alberta throwing the ball as they are, they should keep him in there.
They open up again. Open, and the pass just out of his reach, but that play has been there every time they've tried it.
It has been there. I think all Jason Aston needs is a little bit more air underneath the football. He's trying to throw the perfect strike right now, and it's not necessary when you have a receiver like Mike Frieder. Get the ball up in the air, give him a chance to go after it and get it.
Okay. You guys, Scotty, Scott, Staple, Coach Wilkinson, hurry up. Zone to here, right? So you got to block away. Scott can block you. Scott, you block away.
46 fire?
46 fire.
No.
You're traffic.
I'm traffic. Okay. This is 46 fire?
46 fire.
Okay.
Right.
Ryan Dickinson going over the offensive line plans for the Golden Bears. This punt almost blocked. Parsons is down. There's no flag. And Parsons a little shaken up, which may be more for theatrical effect than anything. 28-4, Calgary continues to lead. We'll return to McMahon Stadium in just a moment.
Introducing Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. A clear, clean gel that goes on smoothly with no white residue to form an invisible barrier of protection. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirants and Deodorants.
At TD Bank, we guarantee fast service. In fact, we'll give you $5 if you wait in a teller line more than 5 minutes. That leaves 55 minutes of your lunch hour to go to the park and feed the birds. TD, your bank, your way.
Back at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the 1993 North-South Shrine Bowl game. Alberta hasn't won one of these contests since 1989, and you mentioned that game earlier. Trent Brown was the MVP of that football game. Alberta beat Calgary 29-26.
And Trent Brown in that game played defensive back, corner to be precise, but they brought him in the last minute of the game, and he played tailback, and they sent him out of the backfield. Jeff Steinberg hit him with a long touchdown pass, which won the game for Alberta.
Flags are down. Short's going to be wide open. It's Tolbert, and Tolbert is dragged down to 10, but I think this is coming back.
Tolbert tackled by number 18, John Kalin.
What is that when he punches his fist out and crosses his feet? I think it's unnecessary roughness.
That's
tripping.
what it is.
Is it tripping?
Alberta, number 66, tripping. First down repeated.
Holding. I get you sit in the penalty box for tripping in a football game?
See if we can see the trip.
That's different.
Yeah. I think that was a bad call. I think that he tripped himself. I couldn't see any kind of leg whipping or tripping.
And it wipes out Kirby Short's first completion. So they go back to the ground with Jay Hamilton. He's got all kinds of his way down to the 48-yard line. Pickup of about 12.
You can see now Alberta, even though it's late in the football game, they should have been maybe doing this a bit earlier, starting to run the ball left and throwing the ball left. They give it to Jay Hamilton, who really hasn't done very much today, that we were expecting him to do quite a bit more. He's the second leading rusher.
Hamilton's 15-yard gain accounts for all but 5 of his 20 yards rushing. 9 carries for 20 yards in the football game. And Alberta needed him to be a much bigger part of the offense than that. Again, he has Tolbert open. Short, got him, down to the 5. And they'll probably put him out at the 4-yard line. So finally, Kirby Short gets that first completion. And there's finally reason to cheer.
And you know, Tolbert does a nice job here because the ball's thrown up and he tries to slow down a little bit so he maintains himself between the ball and the defender, and then he turns and makes the catch. The other thing is Colin Newman's back is to the quarterback. He has no idea where the football is.
45-yard gain gives Alberta first and goal from the 4. Tolbert now with 4 catches for 83 yards. Short runs into a wall at the 4. A moment of indecision, and he got buried.
And you know, it looked like Short could have scored there because they had Patrick Nord coming out the tackle. Watch the guard, number 66. He's outside here. Now, he seems to have leverage. You've got to set up that block if you're a quarterback. You got to step inside and then go outside. You can see he just ran in and made, you know, Patrick Nord's probably looking at him saying, hey, we should have been in the end zone.
And Alberta calls timeout. And they're loving it in Calgary. So Kirby Short will go over to talk it over with Tom Wilkinson and the coaching staff. Wilkie said that coming off last week's big win at UBC, he wanted his team to play well for the second week in a row, even if they lost, because he said what happens is if you play well and win, and then you play poorly, you have no idea what kind of team you have. If you play well and still lose after a big win, at least you know that you can win, and you know what kind of football team you have. Wilkie said there's nothing more frustrating than inconsistency, and that's what the Golden Bears were last year.
Yeah, that's right. They really suffer from that. I mean, they're an up-and-down football team, and it's not defensively. Defensively, they're fairly solid. They play, but your defense can only do so much for you. You have to take the pressure off of them by putting some points on the board and keeping them off the field. You can't be on 1-2 kicking the ball away. Jay Hamilton, 9 rushes, 20 yards. Not a big day for him.
And 15 of them came on 1 carry in this drive. Again, Short on his own to the 2. It'll bring up a 3rd down situation for the Golden Bears just outside the 1-yard line.
You know, not really fancy stuff they're doing down here. They get both backs outside. This is run all the way. They get cut down. Now he's trying to cut it back inside. We can see pretty good job of filling there by John Kalin, number 18, the safety.
3rd and a long yard. Kalin comes out as the Dinosaurs put their goal line defense in. Alberta looking for its first touchdown in 3 weeks offensively. Fumbled the snap. Short fumbled the snap. And it wouldn't have mattered who got it back because the ball was not in the end zone. So the Calgary Dinosaurs, for the 2nd time in the game, take over on downs. Wilkie looking for the lock position on that hat. And this game is a lock for the Dinosaurs.
I think that's the case right there of Kirby Short just pulling out a little bit too soon before the center, Scott Staples, makes the block. You can see it. Remember we talked about pressure, push, and pull? There's no real push. He just kind of pulled out and the ball wasn't there. And, you know, that's the thing with the quarterbacks, with Kirby Short, Darryl Garrett, Robert Taylor. They've got to become best friends with Scott Staples, the center. They have to take 1,000,000 snaps. That has to be automatic.
5th turnover of the game for Alberta, 2nd on down. Going for it all. Looking for John Field, but the pass falls incomplete, and we've got a number of new players into the football game for the Dinosaurs. Kevin Klein, number 90, checks in at wide receiver. John Field, number 5, is in there as well.
And, you know, I like the call because I think that's where your biggest play has to come in the football game, when you're right in the shadow of your own end zone. And if it is picked off, it's as good as a punt.
Non-stop flights every weekday between Calgary and Victoria.
Well, you had one of the longest completions in CIAU history. Do you remember October 19th, 1974?
It's Acadia's homecoming against UPEI. I mean, I have a record against a team that doesn't even exist anymore. So
96 yards. He pass it goes a little shorter this time and out of the reach of a diving John Field. Maybe you drove UPEI out of existence. Well, you were in Acadia, actually. And the numbers for Jason Assen, while his percentage will drop, he came in at 68.1%. And the 3 interceptions are his first 3 of the year. But he now has 7 touchdown passes on the season.
I'm really a bit surprised that he's thrown as much as he has, given the score of this football game, being ahead by 24 points.
An interesting move by a team that was undefeated to change quarterbacks.
I think they're going to give up the safety here, Gord. It's 3rd down.
There's an awful lot of maneuvering here for a 24-point football game. And indeed, Calgary surrenders the safety.
Quarterback and the safety
So Alberta now has 6 points, trailing 28-6. The second safety of this football game.
And then it has to be a concern, as we were saying at halftime, that Alberta's offense has not scored a touchdown in 2 games, even though they beat UBC. The only touchdown that was scored in that game by Alberta was on a blocked kick. So it was really their defense that scored that. Their offense did not. It was all field goals. So Tom Wilkinson and his staff have to be very concerned about the inability to get the ball across the goal line.
And so Parsons will kick it to the Golden Bears from the 35-yard line. 4:18 to play here in the 4th quarter.
Come on, no big plays now, Dinos. No big plays. Go.
That's former CFL linebacker Dan Whitcomb, now an assistant coach with the Calgary Dinosaurs.
Also former Guelph Griffin. Played with the Guelph
who delivered an infamous hit here at McMahon Stadium on the Rocket, giving him the first of many concussions in the CFL. A lot of players and coaches have fond memories of the stadium. Tom Wilkinson won a Grey Cup here. Parsons kicks it off to Mike Hogan. And Hogan gets his way to the 30-yard line as we have 4:12 to play in the 4th quarter. Now Alberta trails by 22. We're back in just a moment. Hey, look at this 4th quarter. Toronto leading Laurier 31-21. The meeting of the top 2 teams in the nation, both undefeated. And Toronto at Varsity Stadium leading by 10. Guelph has defeated Windsor by a final count of 55-18. And those gentlemen you see there on the pavement are some of the Calgary Stampeders who have wrapped up their practice and are taking in some football action this afternoon. Kirby Short, 1st and 10 with the Golden Bears at their own 29-yard line. Play action again. Short rolling to his right, looking, and throwing deep, almost intercepted. As that pass was thrown to the Calgary bench.
Incomplete.
Jumping back to grab it for the Dinosaurs was Dan Jeremiah, who had an interception earlier in this game.
And I tell you what, Calgary's defense did a great job of covering all the receivers. There was absolutely nobody open. And Kirby Short gets around outside, and he has all sorts of time to look downfield, but all for naught because there is 2 guys in every receiver, 2 defensive people on every receiver.
And a reminder to those of you tuning in to see the Vantage Senior PGA Championship. It'll be joined in progress as soon as we're finished here at McMahon Stadium. 2nd round action. Flags are down. Jay Hamilton gets about 4, but we'll see what the flags are all about. You were mentioning previous Shrine Bowls. One of the more memorable ones I took in was in Edmonton on September 23rd, 1988. Wasn't memorable for the score. The game was a blowout for Calgary. Bob Torrance had a big game there, but that was the night that Ben Johnson ran in the 100 meters in Seoul, and they put it up on the scoreboard, and the game stopped.
Legal procedure, Alberta number 28, decline, third down.
Well, Tom Wilkinson's team has really come apart here in the second half, Jamie.
Yeah, offensively, I mean, he has to be very discouraged. We saw him earlier taking his hat off and kind of turning it sideways, and maybe that's how he feels his team has really played. They've been off track.
Well, you wonder if Bob Lancaster will suit up for the next game now.
Be interesting, you know, what's going on down there. They played 3 quarterbacks today. Bob Lancaster, of course, the 4th. He was a starter at Acadia University before transferring here to U of A 2 years ago. Redshirted, played last year, and we have a blocked punt.
Punt is partially blocked and rolling out of bounds at about the 53-yard line. And you heard them yelling, "Get the kicker," because McKenzie earlier got downfield and almost fielded his own punt. Well, it's tough to get quarterbacks in CIAU football, guys who can really dominate. And the Calgary Dinosaurs, we were talking about this earlier with Greg Bavra and Bob Torrance, have always seemed to find a way to do it.
But one of the things I've been impressed this year is that the quality of quarterbacks that are playing. Mario Storino, of course, at University of Toronto. You've got Bill Cubis at Laurier, Jason Assen here, of course. There are a lot of fine quarterbacks around. And
well, I'll tell you something, when John Kalin goes to the bench, as well as he's played for this football team.
That's right.
And a huge hole up the middle. And Gene Stahl fights his way all the way down inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. So some of Calgary's bench getting a chance to play here and taking advantage of the opportunity.
Again, they like to try and run the trap, and here nobody knows where the football is. They all think the quarterback's got it, and then Gene Stahl just busts it straight up the middle. Now it's a foot race. And again, who comes across and makes the tackle? Ian Hiltz.
We've got a new quarterback in the football game, Brett Campbell, number 38. Now, there's a number I've never seen any quarterback wear.
It's like a throwback to the old days when Red Grains was playing number 77. And
maybe the Dinosaurs just pick up whatever jerseys on the ground and wear that out.
I think you might be right. That's all that's left.
They did dress a few for this football game. Mike Hogan is the injured Alberta Golden Bear. And they're checking his left knee. Mentioned earlier that Peter White, Alberta's starting outside linebacker, left this game with a suspected fractured ankle, and Craig Furlong, who got clocked in the first quarter, did not return to this football game either. And here's what happened to number 24, Hogan. Okay, he just hyperextended it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, Gord. He just kind of came down hard in that knee.
This is old turf at McMahon Stadium. It's, in fact, the oldest turf in the Canadian Football League. It was installed in 1983. Stan Schwartz and the crew here at McMahon Stadium take very good care of it, but it is getting a little...
Well, we were walking on it earlier, and it's in great shape.
Oh, yeah!
Campbell with the toss to Chris Lewis.
Lewis, the ball carrier.
And Lewis picks his way to about the 12-yard line.
Tackled by
Jason Assen finishes the day 13 of 32 for 253 yards, 3 interceptions and a touchdown.
But I remember one time, I think his stat was 13 of 24.
Yeah.
So I think he threw 9 incompleted passes.
But his team gets the victory. And with Laurier appearing to be on its way to a loss, Calgary should move into the number 2 spot in the rankings. Second and 4. Lewis. Touchdown, Calgary. Chris Lewis goes in from about the 12-yard line. And now the Dinosaurs are rubbing it in a little bit and loving every second of it.
Here we go. They like to run counter trap. They're going to pull both guard and tackle out here. They're going to set the backs this way and then bring them back outside here. And watch this. He'll roll it. Okay, we freeze it right here. Bang. We get the kick out here. We get a pull around in here. And now the back goes right into here, right to the end zone. Roll it. That's a way it's supposed to be executed.
And that's why Ron Meyer is an All-Canadian. Number 66, Ron Meyer makes a great block around the corner. And it's smooth sailing for Chris Lewis into the end zone. And Parsons, who saw his player of the game chances slip away a long time ago at the convert. It's 35-6, Calgary leading Alberta. Back at McMahon Stadium in Calgary at 35-6, the Dinosaurs leading Alberta, and the Golden Bears coming up a big win over UBC last weekend, brought right back to earth and hard by the first place team of the conference. And the Calgary Dinosaurs, with this win, are a long way to securing first place in Canada West and home field advantage for the playoffs. Top 2 teams in this conference make the playoffs.
For Chris Lewis,
They certainly are in the driver's seat right now for first place. It will be a real interesting match to see who's going to get that second spot, you know.
Well, with Alberta losing today and Manitoba winning, all of a sudden everything gets pretty tight. As it generally is, but the weather will be a major determining factor. There are still games to be played in Edmonton, Saskatoon, and Winnipeg in the cold, cold weather. Here's Hogan from his own end zone. Whoa! Did he get rocked? John Linares jumped up and made the tackle. A backup running back who just stopped Mike Hogan in his tracks.
Hey, well, what a form tackle. Look at that. My gosh. See that he extends the hips right through? Oh, he brought everything with him, I tell you.
The scoring drive for the Dinosaurs, 52 seconds. 3 plays and 52 yards, and Chris Lewis takes it in from 12 yards out, and the big right tackle, Ron Meyer, made the big block to spring him loose. First and 10, Alberta from the 17-yard line. They give to Hamilton. It gets about 6 up to the 19-yard line. And this man has not figured nearly as much into the Alberta plans today as they thought he would. Gain of 6 there. He now has 10 carries for 26 yards. And under 2 minutes to play now here in the 4th quarter. On a simply gorgeous day in southern Alberta. And don't forget, we'll have senior PGA golf coming your way. Join in progress as soon as we're finished here. Here's Hamilton again, gets the first down and gets up to about the 34-yard line. Pickup of 10, and the Golden Bears have a first down, but way too late. All right, let's bring you up to date on what's going on in the AUAA. The number 7 ranked Acadia Axemen defeated by the 9th ranked Mount Allison Mounties. So that will have a major shake-up in the rankings. First down from the 34. Kirby Short remains in at quarterback. They try the out and up again, but Colin Newman is parked under this one, and he picks it off. And Newman now has a convoy in front of him. And gets up to about the 53-yard line. Newman could have eaten a sandwich waiting for that to come down.
Well, you know, you can't throw the ball that late. That's the point. By the time you get outside there and throw the ball downfield, you know, he's already waited about 3 or 4 seconds. The receiver's already 40 yards downfield. That means you're going to have to throw the ball 60, 70 yards in order to have a completion. For a quarterback, you have to throw the ball while the receiver's only going down the field about 12 yards, so he catches it at around the 38 to 40-yard mark. And Colin Newman, it was almost like fielding a punt.
So Brett Campbell will run out the clock for the Dinosaurs. The give goes up the middle to Chris Lewis, and the man who scored the touchdown gets a gain of about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Tackled on the play by number 37.
I want to see that 80. Take that stuff, take that.
Algar.
And as the clock winds down under a minute, Colin Newman and his teammates celebrate a strong defensive performance by the Calgary Dinosaurs. holding Alberta to just 6 points. 2 of those coming on a safety surrendered by the offense.
Defensive coordinator Tony Fasano has done a nice job with his defense this year. You just think of past years, no one's ever questioned the offense. The offense has always been able to put points on the board. But if Calgary's had trouble, it's usually been on the other side of the ball. But this year, they seem to really have a solid group of players.
Back to the dogfight for Tom Wilkinson and company. They'll go back up to Edmonton and try to regroup and figure out what went wrong. And they've still got some playoff opportunities, but now it's an uphill climb for the Golden Bears. Next week, they've got the Manitoba Bisons at home. Flags are down. Here's Lewis again.
Lewis, the ball carrier, gained 1 yard on the play. He was tackled by Steve Gallagher. Flag.
And we'll check what the flag is about. Procedure, the call against the Dinosaurs. So, Jamie, with what you've seen so far this season, is there a Vanier Cup favorite?
Illegal procedure, Calgary number 61, first down repeated.
I'm glad the official was talking because they didn't have to make a quick decision on that one. But, you know, I think there's a number of teams. I think Toronto's playing well, Laurier.
I asked you if there was a favorite.
You know who I will pick to get into the Vanier? I'll say Bishops this year. Oh, I think they're due. As long as the weather holds up for them in October.
Flags are down again. I think procedure will be the call again, or did they draw him offside? And John Nickel and company calling it by the book right down to the wire. And procedure is again the call.
Legal procedure, Calgary number 62, first down repeated.
So that brings up a 1st and 20 with 21 seconds to play here in the standings. 4-0-1 now for the Calgary Dinosaurs, a 5-point lead over the idle UBC Thunderbirds. Frank Smith. Here's Lewis again, stopped in his tracks. Frank Smith was not on the UBC sideline last week, and here we go with some pushing and shoving. Tempers flaring here late in the game. Frank Smith suspended for 1 game after a few incidents over the last couple of weeks. One of them, I think, was here, was it not?
I believe so. I think there was an altercation with some players, I think, after in the closing seconds of the game, and I think they investigated it, and I guess the Canada West Association decided that some penalties were to be meted out.
This should be the final play of the football game. And it's all Dinosaurs. Campbell throws to John Field, and he almost got away. Heck, he dives down to the 43, but that'll be the final play of the football game. It's all Dinosaurs. And Calgary wins it 35-6 to take another North-South Shrine Bowl game from the Alberta Golden Bears. So the Dinosaurs, who lost their #1 ranking in the nation last week, gained some revenge with a big victory over Alberta and a stranglehold on first place in Canada West. And it's back to the drawing board for Tom Wilkinson and the Alberta Golden Bears. We're back with more from Calgary. In just a moment, it came time to select an MVP. We looked to the defensive side of the ball for the Calgary Dinosaurs, and we chose Trent Schmooland, nose tackle, who is our Geo player of the game. And Trent, another big game for you and for this defense. Do you guys get overshadowed a bit by all the offense that the Dinosaurs put up?
Oh, that's for sure, but today defense played a heck of a game, and people were getting upfield, and we did a good job.
Trent, give us an indication of what it was like down there in the pit this afternoon. A lot of emotion?
Yeah, there sure was. Defense needed a good game. We've been giving up a few points, but today we had to tighten up and shut them down.
Coming off the tie against Saskatchewan and losing the #1 ranking, was that an extra incentive for this game?
Oh, for sure. I guess it was kind of a wake-up call, but yeah, for sure.
When you're coming into this game against Alberta, they had the second leading rusher in the Canada West with Jay Hamilton. Were you guys keying on him to try and shut him down? Because you did a great job on it this afternoon.
Yeah, we were aware of that, and they have a good offense. They have a good team, and so we just did a good job on them today.
You know, this defense lost some pretty good football players, Chris Conrad to name one, and the offense lost most of the offensive line. You surprised at how well this team has played so far this year?
We got the guys, and I think everybody just has to pick it up a little bit to make up for their absences.
Okay, you're halfway through your season. Who is the toughest team that you've played to date?
Oh, it'd have to be by Saskatchewan by far, I think.
Well, the tie, I guess, an indicator of that. And, of course, you've got them coming up. Trent, when you look forward to the rest of the season, how much better do you think this Calgary team can get?
Oh, I think we can get much better. We just keep on working day by day and game by game, and we'll take it from there.
Well, Trent, congratulations. You're our Geo player of the game today, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
Trent Schmulin, nose guard for the Calgary Dinosaurs, our Geo player of the game, and we're back with more from Calgary in a moment.